helmets.
And there's nobody better to deliver that speech than Ben Herbert. They respond to him. We've talked so many different times about what Ben Herbert has meant to this team, what he means to head coach Jim Harbaugh.
And here come the Washington Huskies. They are clad in the all-white jerseys with the purple numbers and gold trim, the traditional gold Washington helmet with the purple W on the side. Kalen DeBoer is their head coach, 25-2 at Washington, and most impressively 10-0 against ranked teams, 5-0 against teams ranked in the top 10. Overall, including his years at Sioux Falls and Fresno, 104-11. Of course, the Wolverines led by their head coach Jim Harbaugh in his ninth year, 82-25, third straight college football appearance. Here at NRG Stadium in Houston, in front of 72,220 fans, packed in tight. This will be the 14th meeting between these two programs. Michigan leads 8-5, winning the last one back in 2021, 31-10. And you can hear the Michigan fans with the Let's Go Blue chant. John, I can tell you outside, the Michigan fans dominated the parking lot. They seem to have the bigger numbers here today. You dominated the 5K yesterday. We might have to get to that story before the night is done, and now the Wolverines hoping to dominate on the field as they did a week ago against Alabama.
And I challenged this crowd, I challenged these fans yesterday. You got to approach this game like you're in it. Every single play. We need the fans to be cheering. We need them to be into the game in every single moment, because there's going to be things that go well, things that don't go well. And the fans are going to help this team through the next 60 minutes of football.
What happens make their way to the center of the field for Michigan? Mike Barrett, Mikey Sainristil, Blake Corum, Trevor Keegan, Chris Jenkins, and Zach Zinner. The Wolverines' honorary captain is Rayshon Benny, out with a broken ankle tonight. For the Washington Huskies, Roma Dunze, Edifon Ulafosio, Braylon Trice, and Michael Penix. Their honorary captain, the great defensive lineman of the past, Steve Entman. And the captains have gathered in the center of the field, and we will hear from the lead official tonight. It's an ACC crew, the official being Marcus Wood.
Coin, 2024 will be heads. NRG Stadium will be tails. Washington, you will call the flip. What's your call? Tails. Tails is the call. It's tails, you want the toss. You're going to defer, you want the ball, which way you want to kick. All right, move your backs there. You guys move down there.
Just like a week ago, the Wolverines will get the football first. That was today's coin toss. Put down to our guy in the field, right in the mix, number 8, Jason Avant.
The atmosphere is absolutely electric down here. Everyone's excited for this game. I'm excited for this game. This is the game of the year. Two great teams. We're going to see how our offense can go down and go through their defense. But look, on this sideline, the fans have been ready all game. I'm talking about 2 hours before the game. We've been excited, and the fans have been in the building.
All right, so let's set the Michigan offense up front, making his 39th start in college. Ladarius Henderson, Trevor Keegan at left guard, his 37th start. Drake Nugent, 39th start at center. Carson Barnhart, his 30th start at right guard. And Trente Jones, his 14th start at right tackle. The Wolverines typically start two tight ends, Colston Loveland and A.J. Barnhart on the outside, Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson. Blake Corum's in the backfield, and of course the quarterback, the junior from LaGrange Park, Illinois, J.J. McCarthy, who's 26-1 as a starter, tying Jameis Winston for one of the best winning percentages in college football modern history, minimum 20 starts going back to 1971. Toledo's Chuck Ely did go 35-0. Kicking off for the Huskies will be Grady Gross. All of his kicks last week against Texas were returned. Deep for the Wolverines, Samaj Morgan and Joe Taylor. And we're about set to get this one underway. This is it, the national championship. John Jansen, you ready to go?
It doesn't get any better than this. I'm about ready to crawl out of my skin. Just get this game going.
Ball's on the tee. Grady Gross approaches it, puts his right foot into it, and this one will come down short to Samaj Morgan at the 3-yard line, and he'll bring it out across the 10 to the 15, gets swarmed under at the 16, and Michigan will take over inside their own 20. And the Huskies blew up that Michigan kick return, and that's where the Michigan offense will take the field. It was Maurice Hines on the tackle for the Huskies.
Nice job by the Husky, kickoff team there, getting down, swarming the ball. And, hey, the key thing here is that Michigan possesses the ball. It took a big hit, possessed the ball. They're going to start at the 16. Let's see what we got going.
All right. So Michigan lines up with two tight ends to the left. Cornelius Johnson to the left as well. Now they shift. Not only Colston Loveland, but Roman Wilson to the right. J.J. McCarthy in a shotgun with Blake Corum in the backfield. A handoff to Corum running left through a hole across the 20 and out to the 21-yard line. Good run for Blake Corum. Adafon Ulufosio on the tackle, the second leading tackler for this Husky defense. And Michigan looking at a second down.
Nice job by Colston Loveland when he came back in motion to the left, double teaming with Ladarius Henderson, getting some movement at the point of attack, and then a move at the line of scrimmage by Blake Corum to pick up a nice 4-yard gain.
J.J. McCarthy in a shotgun on second down and 6. Now they jam everybody in tight. Blake Corum in the backfield. Roman Wilson goes in motion, back to passes. J.J. looking, fires over the middle. He's got his man, Cornelius Johnson, for a first down across the 25 and out to the 28-yard line. Move the change for the Wolverines.
That's something that this offense really wants to take advantage of, is some holes in the center of that Washington defense. Cornelius Johnson, the first beneficiary of that. A lot of eye candy pre-snap, a lot of motion, a lot of different looks. There's only been 2 so far, but that's what we're going to see throughout the course of this game. A lot of movement pre-snap.
Ulufosio on the tackle again for the Huskies. From the 28-yard line, the Wolverines have it, 1st and 10. Now they go full house backfield with Max Bredesen in there with J.J. McCarthy in a shotgun. J.J. claps his hands. Handoff to Corum running left. He's got some room across the 30, out to the 33, pushing forward as the Wolverines get it out across the 35-yard line. Alfonso Tupatala on the tackle, and the Wolverines another good gain on first down.
Well, they put Max Bredesen in the fullback position, and he was the lead blocker on that. Unsung hero throughout the course of this season so many times. He has been the key to the success. They pulled both tackle and guard on the left side. Were able to get around, and Max Bredesen, I absolutely love it. It was one of my favorite Wolverines. Such a great block. Ended up losing his helmet at the end. Going to have to come out, but he is as aggressive a player as you're going to find.
The junior Bredesen out of Hartland, Wisconsin. Wolverines again with everybody jammed in tight. Blake Corum in the backfield, or is that Khalil Mullings? Back to passes, J.J. Nope, hand off to Mullings up the middle, and he's got the first down. Khalil Mullings gets his first carry out to the 39-yard line in a draw up the middle. And the Wolverines' second first down of the game. Latuli Nasanoa on the tackle for the Huskies.
Not often you're going to talk about offensive linemen as eye candy, but that was eye candy before the snap. Moving around, they brought in Miles Hinton, put him at tackle. They put Trente Jones in motion, and they created that big offensive line that we saw against Purdue. They're starting to use, against Penn State. They're using it here tonight.
Wolverines open up at 4 wide now, shift everybody back in tight again. Pistol formation with Blake Corum in the backfield. J.J. takes the snap, back to pass, fires, and he's got his man, Cornelius Johnson, out near midfield as Cornelius goes to the ground and wheels it in. Good catch with his hands, and the Wolverines with another first down to the 49-yard line.
Great body control by Cornelius Johnson. That ball was behind him. A little bit under duress was J.J. McCarthy, and that was simply because Washington thought it was a run play. They were attacking the running back. They found out he didn't have the ball, so they attacked J.J. Great job of buying a little extra time of just taking one more step back and delivering it to Cornelius.
Gain of 10. Michigan at their own 49-yard line. Khalil Mullings back in the Michigan backfield. He's off the right hip of J.J. McCarthy. A.J. Barner goes in motion from left to right. And Michigan's going to go up the middle with Khalil Mullings. Makes a man miss. Now he breaks a tackle. Oh, he just gets tripped up inside the Washington 40. Down at the 37-yard line. Big Khalil Mullings flexing his muscle early in this game. 14 yards with a strong run, running through Husky defenders.
Great read on the pull by Trevor Keegan. They pinched everybody on the front side. A.J. Barner crashed that offensive line down, that defensive line down, and Trevor Keegan pulled around. Nice edge block. That's not easy to do and adjust on the run. It's a big man moving fast.
In this national championship game, the Wolverines have moved into Husky territory early. We are just underway and scoreless. Now J.J. will take a snap from under center. Blake Corum the lone setback. J.J. play action, back to pass, looking downfield. He's in trouble, and he will get sacked. Pocket collapses.
Well, that was a coverage sack. Nowhere for J.J. to throw the ball, and the best decision sometimes is, hey, it's not popular, but to take a sack in that position, you'd love for him to be able to throw the ball away, but it collapsed too quickly. Just take that sack and live to play second down.
M.J. Ale on the sack for the Huskies. Second down and 14 for Michigan. Now J.J. goes 3 wide. Everybody split to the right with the ball in the left hash. Donovan Edwards in the backfield for the first time. Tight end A.J. Barner to the right. J.J. takes the snap, hand off to Edwards. Up the middle, bounces off a tackler. 35, Donovan Edwards down the sideline. and a 41-yard touchdown run by number 7, Donovan Edwards. No flags.
Well, Donovan initially missed the hole. It was exactly where he ended up going, but the defensive lineman, MJ Ale, pinched across Trevor Keegan's face. Trevor took him down. Donovan ran into him, but then was able to bounce out and avoid the tackle, and at that point, it was such a huge hole. You could have drove a semi-truck through it, a lot of green, and he took all of it.
8 plays, 84 yards. JT is on for the extra point. Out of the hold of Tommy Doman. Snap is good, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. Michigan takes the opening drive, 84 yards, and they lead it here in Houston early, 7-0. That 41-yard touchdown run by Donovan Edwards brought 7-0 Michigan early on in the national championship game.
You want to talk about a guy that just all patience all season long. People asking, where has Donovan Edwards been? And he has always said, hey, I'm going to be there when called upon. Last year, 9 yards shy of 1,000. This year, only 393 yards coming into the game. And then he is to do to help this team when called upon. You never know when your number is going to be called, but you got to be ready, and Donovan has been ready.
Well, yesterday at the pep rally we were at Rice University, our Jack Miller called it out, said he expects big things today from Donovan Edwards, and Donovan Edwards has showed up early with a 41-yard touchdown run. And here's something else about Donovan Edwards. All season long, the media has asked Donovan Edwards about him having a rough year, and he said, whoa, I'm not having a rough year. We're undefeated. And I love it when my brothers get in the end zone, and then he keeps getting asked about it. He goes, guys, I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
Which I think is something you say all the time.
Yes, that's my vernacular.
And the kickoff from Tommy Doman will come down deep into the end zone, out of the back of the end zone, and we will see Michael Penix for the first time. He is an outstanding quarterback. Of course, we saw him at Indiana, 6-year senior out of Tampa, 4 years at Indiana, 4 different season-ending surgeries. He can fit the ball through a keyhole off his back foot from 35 yards. He's thrown for 4,648 yards, 69%, 35 touchdowns, 9 picks, and he will lead this Washington offense with outstanding wide receivers led by Rome Odunze. Michigan's defense will match up Odunze on Mikey Sainristel on this first snap of the ball game. We'll set the Michigan defense in a moment. Under center is Penix, puts his tight end Culp in motion and goes toss sweep. It's Dylan Johnson running right, gets through a hole out to the 28, 29, and brought down at the 31-yard line. Good game for the injured Dylan Johnson, who is coming off that injury a week ago against Texas, and now he will limp off the field. Penix in a shotgun on 2nd down and 4 for the Huskies. Claps his hands, takes the snap, back to pass, fires. He's got his man McMillan across the 35, out to the 37, knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line by Michigan's Josh Wallace.
Just a little rub rope there by Rome Odunze, allowing McMillan to become open. This is a very effective passing attack. They find different ways, creative ways, to get wide receivers open in space. 1st and
10 Washington from the 42-yard line. Will Nixon in the backfield now. He's actually lined up at quarterback. Nope, check that. It's Penix. My bad. Penix now shifting guys all over the place. Seems to be some confusion. Hurry with the play clock. Now Penix is ready to go. Takes the snap. It's a low snap. Back to pass. Rolling to his left. Penix is going to fire underneath, and he's got his running back. That is Nixon, and he is knocked out of bounds on the far sideline.
Well, nice job of Michigan adjusting to what seemed to be a disorganized offense, getting set up. Sometimes, hey, that can be what catches you in a wrong position. Offense can be not set up, and all of a sudden, somebody comes open. Great job by Michigan for adjusting.
Gain of just 3, 2nd down and 7 for the Huskies from their own 45-yard line. Will Nixon continues in the backfield next to Penix, and it'll be a handoff to Nixon up the middle, and he runs right into the teeth of that Michigan defense. Not much room there. Give him a yard, maybe 2.
Hey, if you can limit this Washington offense to 3 yards on 1st down, they average over 7.5 yards on 1st down. It's unbelievable. And if you keep them to 3 and now force a 3rd and 5, you got to steal a possession at some point. Why not make it the first possession?
Mason Graham on the tackle for Michigan. It's 3rd down and 5. Washington's offense 47th in the country. Check that, 14th in the country, 47% conversion rate on 3rd down. They got Sam Adams in there, RB4 for them. He's off the left hip. of Michael Penix, who's back to pass on this third down. Fires. Adams has it, and he breaks the tackle at the 50. Gets down the sideline with the first down. The Wolverines had him. It was Tybo Rogers on the completion, the freshman, who's getting more playing time for them. And Wolverines had him short of a first down, but a broken tackle of Keon Sabb, 11 yards, 1st and 10 Washington from the 42.
This is an offense you don't want to give extra opportunities. Now the rest of this possession is an extra opportunity. That was an open field tackle, not an easy thing to do, but it was one that Keon Sabb should have made. 1st
and 10 for the Huskies from the Michigan 42-yard line. Penix barking some commands at his offensive line. Got a bunch formation out to the right with the ball in the left hash. Back to pass is Penix. Here comes a blitzer, and he gets it out here. Rogers incomplete.
Junior Colson, they brought him right off of the edge, and it was quick. He was right in Michael Penix's face, and this is what Michigan was able to do last week against Alabama. Get free runners on the quarterback. You never know if it's going to be Junior Colson coming off the edge, Mike Barrett up the middle, Mikey Sanders still. They attacked the quarterback in so many different ways, and that caused an early pass, early rush, and incompletion by Michael Penix.
2nd down and 10 from the Michigan 42-yard line. Penix in an empty backfield. Now he shifts Will Nixon back into the backfield with 3 receivers split to the right. Culp, the tight end, goes from right to left. Penix takes the snap. We got a flag down, and before the play is run, whistles blow. And we'll see what the ACC crew, led by Marcus Wood, says the call is.
Nobody lined up on the line of scrimmage right there. They did that twice, the second time.
Legal formation?
That's what I believe it is.
Okay.
Legal formation. Washington called time out prior to the snap.
Okay.
Time out.
So Washington, the coaching staff over there saw it, and Kalen DeBoer takes a timeout. With Washington facing a 2nd and 10 and had lined up in an illegal formation. With 7:01 to go in the first quarter, Michigan leading 7-0. Storyline, Dylan Johnson, their 1,000-yard back, carried the ball on the first snap from scrimmage, came out of the game and hasn't returned. Watching him through warm-ups, his left leg was wrapped up heavily, and he seemed to have a little bit of pitch in his giddy-up, but we'll keep our eye on that and see if he comes back in this game.
Yeah, from a Washington perspective, you got to love the way that he attacked the line of scrimmage. They picked up 7 yards on that play, and he attacked it like he wasn't hurt at all. Now coming to the sideline, all of a sudden, if you don't see him anymore in this possession, I would start to wonder if he's going to be back, because you don't want a guy like that sitting and getting stiff on the sidelines very long.
So following the Washington timeout to avoid the illegal formation, the Huskies are looking at a 2nd down and 10. They've moved the ball into Michigan territory down to the 42-yard line. This is a danger zone. Nobody takes more deep shots in the country than the Huskies. They're not an outstanding red zone team. They like to score from outside the red zone. Shotgun, Will Nixon in the backfield. Back to pass is Penix. Quick screen. He's got it to his man to the 40. Inside the 40, Roma Dunze. Inside the 30, where he is dragged down from behind by a host of Wolverines. Down at the 26-yard line, Roma Dunze had the best season in Washington history from the wide receiver position, picks up 16 yards.
Well-designed play. They're running it to the short side of the field, which allows their offensive linemen to get out and make some blocks. Just a well-designed play.
Will Johnson on the tackle for the Wolverines. Penix now back to pass, 1st and 10. Here comes the rush. He bails out of there to the left, fires behind his receiver, incomplete. It was intended for Will Nixon out of the backfield.
Yeah, it's a little bit unique when you are rushing a left-handed passer like Michael Penix. And, you know, it's generally you're used to coming off that right side and hitting the backside of the quarterback, and they escape the opposite way. Now you're pressuring him off the left, and he's going to be escaping to the left side of this defense.
Dylan Johnson back in a pistol formation directly behind Michael Penix. 2 receivers split to either side on 2nd down and 10. 6:27 to go, first quarter. Michigan on top. 7-0 here from NRG Stadium. Penix puts a man in motion, and they will go jet sweep. Running to the right, McMillan, 25-20, and knocked out of bounds at the Michigan 17-yard line. A gain of 9 on the run for Jalen McMillan.
Yeah, they're trying to use the speed that they have at receiver to attack the edges of Michigan's defense. And right there, they created a mismatch because of the motions that pre-snap. Both Michigan and Washington are doing it. They created a situation where Michael Barrett was manned up on one of the receivers and just couldn't keep up with him as he came across the formation.
All right, here we go. 3rd down and 1 for the Huskies from the Michigan 17-yard line. 3 receivers, bunch formation to the right. Dylan Johnson in the backfield. He will take the handoff up the middle. He's got the first down inside the 15 down to the 10, where he is dragged down by the Wolverines there. It was Josiah Stewart on the tackle at the 10-yard line, and Washington will have it 1st and goal from the 10-yard line.
A little glimpse of why this was the Joe Moore Award-winning offensive line. They're taking really good steps. They're in good position. They're undersized against Michigan's defensive front.
5:27 to go, first quarter. Penix in a shotgun, takes the snap. Hand off to Dylan Johnson. He was met in the backfield, spins out of one tackle, but won't get away from another Wolverine who's there to bring him down. It's Junior Colson on the stop. No gain on first down for Dylan Johnson, who limps off.
Michigan's linebackers are going to have to be so important. Their keys, their reads, being able to, that closing speed that they do have. Ernest Hausman, Junior Colson, Mike Bear all have good speed, but they want to make sure that, hey, you keep them matched up on running backs and not on receivers.
Tybo Rogers back in the game. Everybody jammed in tight here for the Huskies. Ball on the right hash. Penix in a shotgun. 2nd and goal from the 10. Takes the snap. They're going to go reverse to the 10. And knocked out of bounds at the 8-yard line is Jalen Polk as the Michigan defense not fooled there, swarming to the football. A gain of 2, setting up 3rd down.
Yep, another situation where they're bringing Polk from the left side of the formation at the snap of the ball. He comes in front of Michael Penix. They hand him the ball, trying to attack the edge with their fastest players, knowing that Dylan Johnson's a little bit dinged up.
Josh Wallace and Will Johnson combined on the tackle there. 3rd and goal. Michigan leading 7-0, 4:18 to go, first quarter. But the Huskies knocking on the door. We talked about this now being an elite red zone team. Can Michigan get the stop here? Shotgun with 2 running backs in the backfield for Penix. 1 receiver split right, 2 to the left. Penix didn't like what he saw. He's going to call timeout. And the Michigan fans down at this end, they love it.
Yeah, Jack Westover was lined up in the backfield there, and he was pointing to an overload that Michigan had on the right side of their defense, left offensive front, and Michael Penix saw it, called it. Now, let's keep an eye on this. That's 2 timeouts early in this first half.
Let you guys know, Keon Sabb has been in most of the game, which is different from what we've seen the last few ball games. Makari Page has been in these situations. Makari Page came in, and then they subbed Keon Sabb back out once they called the timeout. Or they subbed them back in once they called the timeout.
Have you seen Quentin Johnson in the ball game?
No, Quentin Johnson had been in the game. They're going with Keon Sabb for some reason. Normally, Makari Page was in that situation before.
All right, here we go. Washington with a tight formation from the right hash. 3rd down and goal from the 8. Penix in a shotgun. Dylan Johnson in the backfield. Now Penix looks like he wants to change the play. This is right in front of where the bulk of the Michigan fans are, making a ton of noise down there. Penix ready to go, claps his hands, back to pass on 3rd and goal from the 8. Here comes the rush, steps up, fires, and overthrows his receiver in the end zone. Incomplete. And the Michigan defense gets the stop. It was Sabb in coverage against Rome Odunze.
That's the definition right there of short-term memory. A couple of missed tackles. He could have ended this drive at about the 40-yard line, a missed tackle by Keon Sabb, but he comes back when it matters most and makes a great play in the end zone.
The sophomore out of IMG Academy had a big play when the Wolverines blitzed last week, and he was one-on-one with Jermaine Burton and stopped him for no gain. Brady Gross on for a field goal attempt. This will be a 25-yard field goal attempt. Ball be placed down, and the kick is up, and the kick is through for Grady Gross. And Washington is on the board with a 25-yard field goal by the walk-on turned scholarship player. 13 plays, 67 yards over 6 minutes and 15 seconds. And the lead for Michigan is 7-3.
I love the fact that anytime you're going to steal a possession, all right, if you can hold them to 3, that's just like stealing a possession. Don't let them into the end zone. Settle for 3. Now the offense is back out there after on the very first drive. They marched down the field without much resistance and scored.
Yeah, that was a really good job by the secondary ciphering through, trying to figure out how they're going to play bunches and stacks. The first couple of plays of that series, they played it poorly. That time, they were able to communicate. I saw both of the safeties and the nickels communicating how they will play it, and they did a great job on that last play.
Hey, Jason, seeing these Washington wide receivers up close and personal, are you impressed with their speed? Do they definitely look faster than what Alabama brought to the table last week?
Well, Alabama had all-world speed. They're not as fast as Alabama, but they have better playmakers. Yes, they have size. McMillan can take the top off. He's their speed guy, but Rome can run, and Jalen Pope can run as well. It's a special group. Our secondary is just as good.
Well, it's a great matchup tonight.
Yeah, and I'm not really surprised when using that speed, not just to get downfield, but we've already seen a number of wide receiver runs trying to get to the edge, trying to test the sides of this Michigan defense.
John?
Yeah.
Braylon Trice got a lot of pressure on Ladarius Henderson in that first drive when they had the pass. He was back there pretty much all 3 times they passed it. I'm looking forward to see how that matchup plays out.
Yeah, and what Ladarius Henderson's going to have to do is adjust some of his sets. He was setting a little bit short. Needs to, whether it's a pre-snap already step, or you're going to have to find a way to get some depth. But the thing that Braylon Trice does really well is change of direction. He can come inside, and that's, I think, right now what Ladarius Henderson is worried about. But he's going to have to find a way to set that edge a little bit better.
Trice, the edge rusher out of Phoenix, Arizona, their leader in sacks and tackles for loss. And he can be a problem. And that problem often needs to be addressed. Michigan will get the football back here. Donovan Edwards' 41-yard touchdown gave the Wolverines the lead. His previous long in the year was 22 yards on that 3rd and 11 first score at Penn State. And he already has his 4th highest rushing total this season after 1 carry.
Yeah, at different times, guys are going to have to step up. We've seen Donovan Edwards do it. We saw Keon Sapp do it in the end zone. This is a game where it's going to be a lot of different guys. When we get to the end of the game, if we're talking about 7, 8, 9, 10 guys that have made plays, distinctive plays throughout the course of the game, now you're going to be talking about a possible national title for Michigan.
Well, here's another matchup as Samaj Morgan is deep. Washington's kick coverage team, Grady Gross, it's about 50% of touchbacks on the year, but didn't have a touchback last week against Chicago, and the first one was fielded at the 3 by Samaj, but he only made it out to the 16. And he's standing on his own goal line as Grady Gross's kick comes down, and this one a little bit deeper. Samaj will take it 1 yard deep, and he'll bring it out to the 5, to the 10. Samaj Morgan gets hit as he gets to the 14-yard line, and that'll be it.
A little pause before he brought it out. I think he was thinking about taking a knee, probably should have, would have gained another 10 yards, but I'm okay with Samaj. I love the ball in his hands. I know that he cost him a possession last week, but he's a special athlete, a special player, and is just trying to make some plays.
Raylan Goforth on the tackle for the Huskies. So Michigan will take over, this time on their own 14-yard line, leading 7-3 with 3:50 to go first quarter. 3 receivers split to the left with the ball near the right hash. Cornelius Johnson, the lone line receiver, split wide right. Now they shift everybody back, including Max Bredesen, into a traditional I formation ahead of Blake Corum. JJ under center. Takes the snap, turns and hands it off to Corum up the middle. Breaks 1 tackle, tries to bounce it outside, but he's swarmed under by Husky defenders. Got 3 yards out to the 17-yard line before he was brought down.
Yeah, and he was really close to breaking that one on the edge. One more half a step, and he might have been able to get there. Good pursuit by that Washington defense, but we're starting to see this Michigan offensive line really start to fire off the football.
Elijah Jackson, the cornerback, on the tackle there for Washington. 2nd down and 7 for Michigan. 2 receivers split to the left. That's Cornelius and Roman. JJ in a shotgun with Blake Corum deep behind him. JJ takes the snap, play action, back to pass, looking, fires, and he's got Roman Wilson at the 40, down the far sideline. Roman Wilson into Washington territory, where he's chased out of bounds at the Washington 46-yard line. J.J. McCarthy finds the senior wide receiver out of Honolulu, and Roman Wilson goes 37 yards on the play.
You want to talk about an accurate throw as we get a chance to see it again here. That one was absolutely dropped out of the sky into Roman Wilson. Good coverage, but a great route by Roman Wilson. That was run to a spot, I'm going to throw to a spot, and go get it.
J.J. McCarthy now in a shotgun, empty backfield as they shift Blake Corum out to the right. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right with the ball on the right hash. J.J. takes the snap, back to pass, fires quickly and incomplete. Looking for Samaj Morgan. He got a hand on it and tipped it, but it falls incomplete.
Looked like a miscommunication between J.J. and Samaj there. Samaj wheeled inside. I think it looked like JJ thought he was going to go outside, and that caused the errant throw, the incompletion, and almost an interception.
Yeah, Elijah Jackson dove for that one after it went off Samaja's hand. Couldn't find it. Wolverines lived to play another down, 2nd down and 10. Donovan Edwards in the backfield for Michigan here. 1 carry, 41-yard touchdown. Everybody jammed in tight. Pistol formation. JJ takes the snap, hands it off to Edwards, who will bounce it outside. Donovan 40, Donovan 30. Donovan Edwards is in the clear. He'll do it again. His 2nd touchdown run of the ball game. This time from 46 yards. And Michigan has taken a 13-3 lead on the 2nd touchdown of the night from the man who was not tripping.
An absolute thing of beauty. They put Trente Jones at the left wing, brought in Miles Hinton, put him at right tackle, and they ran right behind him. And guess who was there as well? A.J. Barner. He has been such an asset. Coming over from Indiana in the transfer portal is being able to set the edge. Trente Jones, Carson Barnhart, Miles Hinton, and A.J. Barner.
JT on for the extra point. The snap is clean. The hold is down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And Michigan now leads it here 14-3. Late first quarter.
Michigan team is locked in. They're overcoming negative plays and miscommunications. It's not a perfect game so far, but they're able to overcome because they're so focused. A workman-like mindset for this team on the sideline.
You know what? Sometimes it's the team that just doesn't make the big mistake. And so far, I mean, we saw it in the Rose Bowl. There were some big mistakes made early in special teams and also on offense. But right now, some of those small mistakes have caused a loss of 2 yards. Then all of a sudden, you come back and you get some great blocking up front. But how about the acceleration for Donovan Edwards? When he gets through that hole, he is absolutely burning on rocket fuel and gone.
He's averaging a healthy 43.5 yards per carry.
I like that. That's a good average. That'll win you some ball games.
That'll win you a lot of games there.
Yeah.
With 2:23 to go in the first quarter, Tommy Doman will kick off. And a fair catch signal for actually a touchback, as taking a knee back there for Washington is Daniel Ngata. Then Washington will take over after the early blitz from the Michigan offense. They lead it 14-3 with 2:23 to go. Now here's an interesting stat from our Brian Bush. First drive for Washington, they averaged 7.5 yards on first down this season. Their first drive on first down, they went 6-3, 0-0, and 1.
It's really hard to defend a team when they're always in 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. If we can win on first down defensively, it makes it really hard on Washington.
Washington from the 25-yard line, trailing 14-3. Penix in a shotgun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Dylan Johnson continues in the backfield. Penix standing on his own 20-yard line. Play clock down to 2. Claps his hands, gets the snap off. Back to pass. The lefty looking downfield, steps up in the pocket, gets tripped up, keeps his feet now, slides as he gets to the 30-yard line. Penix under duress there. Picks up 5 yards in a scramble on first down.
That's not at all anything that he's used to. He's only been sacked 10 times all season long. This offensive line only given up 11 sacks. And to be able to pressure him, get him out of his comfort zone, you want to disrupt the timing. A lot of their routes are timing routes.
There's 5 yards on first down for Washington to start this drive. Penix in a shotgun again. Takes the snap, toss sweep to Dylan Johnson. Not much room, and he's swarmed under as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Mason Graham leading the Michigan tacklers. And no gain on second down for Dylan Johnson.
There was a great job of Will Johnson and Keon Sabb of setting the edge and turning everything back inside. They tried to get some of those big offensive linemen out on some small bodies. That's a big-time win for a corner.
They got to get the ball across the 35-yard line. The ball is spotted at the 30. 3rd and 5 for Washington. Bunch formation to the right. Penix in a shotgun. Play clock at 10. Penix claps his hands, takes the snap, back to pass. Looking, fires, and it's caught short of the first down. And can he get away? McMillan can't from Mikey Samuelson, who drops McMillan at the 32-yard line. And Washington will be forced to punt, trailing 14-3.
There are some players that just refuse to be beat. Mikey Samuelson was not going to let go. We saw that by Keon Sabb, extended that first drive, ended in 3 points for Washington. That one by Mikey Samuelson, 2-time captain, he was not going to let go.
Jack McAllister to punt. He averages 41 yards per punt. Samaj Morgan deep for Michigan, standing on his own 28-yard line. McAllister gets off a shank, and it's going to land and roll. Oh, you hate these 30, 25, and it's going to be a good result for Washington. A short punt that landed in front of Samaj and then rolls down to the 21-yard line, and that's where it is down, and that's where Michigan will take over. A punt that ended up going 47 yards.
Yeah, bad punt, but I tell you what, it provides Michigan with their best field position today.
Ironically.
Well, look at that situation. On the first possession, the first series for Washington's offense, Keon Sapp misses a tackle on a critical third down. Then the captain, the senior, makes the tackle on the next possession. Just talk about the differences in players and being in the moment and knowing the situation.
Wolverines, just 2 Donovan Edwards runs away from the end zone here. We'll snap it from their own 21-yard line. Pistol formation, it's Blake Corum in the backfield. JJ eyes the defense, claps his hands. Hands it off to Corum, running right. He's got room across the 25. Blake Corum, 30. Blake Corum, 35, 40. Blake Corum down the sideline. 40, 35, comes back inside and gets tracked down from behind at the Washington 20-yard line. The Michigan run game flexing its muscle. 57 yards for Blake Corum, and Michigan threatening again, as that will be the final play of quarter number 1.
An absolutely beautiful job by Drake Nugent. No one on top of him. He gets up on the middle linebacker, and anytime you can get that second level block, you're going to get chunk yardage plays. We've seen it with Donovan Edwards twice. Now we're seeing it with Blake Corum.
59 yards on the run for Blake Corum, as everybody eats in the run game tonight. 14-3, Michigan on top. We have second quarter action when we continue. Washington, 8th in the RIP 12, allowing 137 rush yards per game. Not a strength. Michigan in the first quarter, 9 carries, 174 yards rushing. Donovan Edwards, 2 carries, 87 yards. Blake Corum, 4 carries, 73 yards. And look, we got to talk about the Michigan offensive line, not only blowing holes open, but the running backs finding them.
Well, they took that Moore war personally. Like the Jordan meme, they took it personally. This offensive line, I know Johnson and Hutchinson down here on the sideline with me. I know you guys are happy to see this domination up front.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, when you can basically say, we don't need to pull offensive linemen, we're going to put the smoke and mirrors behind us and just run downhill. It's mano a mano. And right now, that Michigan offensive line from Drake Nugent all the way out on both sides, including the tight ends, because you got Trente Jones now at the wing back again.
Michigan leading it 14-3, 1st and 10 now, as the Wolverines now going left to right. First play of the second quarter from the Washington 20. JJ takes the snap, hands it off to Blake Corum, running to his right. Wow, finds a small crease, slips through it on a play that wasn't quite as well blocked, but is managing to get 3 yards anyway on that first down play.
This is where Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards know that there's going to be a big day for this running game. It's already been a big day, but they are running so aggressively and with so much confidence right now because they want to take every single yard that's possible, that's available, and right now it is looking really good.
2nd and 7 from the Washington 17-yard line. Khalil Mullings in the backfield now. Wolverines split 3 receivers to the right with the ball in the right hash. Cornelius Johnson manned up to the left. Handoff Khalil Mullings up the middle across the 15. Powers his way down to the 14 where a host of Husky tacklers take him down. A gain of 3 for Khalil Mullings.
And you're running with 3 different backs because we saw on the first drive, Khalil Mullings with a big run, a 14-yard run. Right now, you've got 3 different styles of runners. Blake Corum a little bit different than Donovan, and then obviously Khalil, the battering ram. You're just attacking them with so many different styles. The Washington defense is not even sure what hit them so far.
3rd and 4 for Michigan. From the Washington 14-yard line, they got to get it across the 10. This is Michigan's first 3rd down play of the ball game. JJ doesn't like what he sees, and he's going to take a timeout. And they will talk it over.
Yeah, it's just taking too long to get set up. I think they were going to get Roman set up on the right and then put somebody else in motion. and the play clock was down to 5 seconds. Just weren't going to have enough time to run it.
14-3, Michigan on top. 13:35 to go first half. This Carson, John Jansen, Jason Avant down on the field. Michigan facing a 3rd and 4 here for the Washington 14-yard line, leading at 14-3. John Jansen, what are you looking for here from the Wolverines?
I'm going to look for for Colston Loveland down the middle, little seam route. I mentioned that this Washington defense will leave that middle open. We haven't seen the tight ends be a part of the offense in the pass game yet. I think this is the perfect time.
Jason Avant, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting the inside run. This is 4-down territory to get closer to the first down for next play.
I agree with John. I think this is Colston territory. However, what Jason said makes some sense considering the way the Wolverines are running the football. Ball's right in the middle of the field, and the Wolverines looking at this 3rd down and 4, trying to add to their 11-point lead. Blake Corum in the backfield off the left hip of J.J. McCarthy, 2 receivers split to either side. J.J. brings Cornelius Johnson in motion, and it's J.J. back to pass, looking, he's going to fire, and it's knocked away from Cornelius Johnson. And coverage down there, Jabbar Muhammad for the Huskies. Good defensive play. Cornelius got little separation, and that'll bring on James Turner to try a short field goal.
Yeah, and Michigan just wasn't able to get off the line of scrimmage. Colston Loveland got jammed. Cornelius got jammed. And a nice job of not taking an unnecessary risk by J.J. McCarthy. You've got points. You're in a comfortable field goal range. Try and fit the ball in, but don't put it where the Washington defense can make a play on it.
This will be a 32-yarder for J.T. Turner. And the snap is good. The hold is good. The kick is up. And the kick is also good. And James Turner is perfect from inside of 40 yards on the season. We have an injured Wolverine, it looks like.
I think it's just slow unpiling. Trente Jones is up and fine. But, 2-touchdown lead now. Just keep adding up the points.
5 plays, 65 yards over a minute 53. The big blow was a 59-yard run by Blake Corum. And Washington's defense has to leave the field feeling like that's a semblance of a win after giving up 2 touchdowns on Michigan's first 2 possessions. But let's keep in mind, this is one of the most explosive offenses in the country, the Huskies. And this is one of those games where it feels like we could safely say no lead is safe.
No lead is safe. And offensively, you got to keep your foot on the gas. You've got to continue to put pressure on the opponent in Washington Huskies. You got to keep putting points on the board. Every time you touch the ball, you need points. We've had 2 touchdowns and a field goal, no empty possessions. And now we've already seen Washington come away with just a field goal and a punt early on in the game.
Deep standing in the Washington end zone is Daniel Ngata. He'll take the kickoff from Tommy Tillman, who approaches the football, puts his right foot into it. And this one will not be returnable as Ngata lets it bounce 9 yards deep in the backfield. It'll go for a touchback. And Washington will get their first snap of this drive once again from the 25-yard line. Setting the Michigan defense, which we haven't done, the starters, Jalen Harrell, Chris Jenkins, Mason Graham, and Braden McGregor. The linebackers, Junior Colson and Mike Barrett. Will Johnson, Mikey Samristo, Rod Moore, Makari Page, and Josh Wallace make up the secondary, but we've seen a lot of Keon Sabb, who's in there again for the Michigan defense here in place of Makari Page, who left the Rose Bowl banged up. Perhaps a continuation of that. Ball in the left hash, 3 receivers split to the right. Dylan Johnson continues in the backfield, working on a injured foot. Penix claps his hands, back to pass, fires far side. He's got his man at the 30, out across the 31-yard line. Out there is Roma Dunze, and he's got first down yardage. They mark it right at the 35.
Well, they're keeping him wrapped up tight. And this is one of those games for Roma Dunze. You don't want to give up first downs, especially when it's a first to a first. But you don't want him to get behind you. He's a guy that can make a lot of plays. Will Johnson in coverage on him, but Mikey Sammer's still right there to help and trying to rip away at the ball.
First and 10 for the Huskies from the 35-yard line. 2 receivers split to the right, 1 to the left. Penix in a shotgun. Dylan Johnson continues in the backfield. Penix takes the snap, back to pass, rolling out to his left. Is going to fire, and he's got his man out near midfield, where Will Johnson, or check that, Josh Wallace is in coverage along with Junior Colson. They bring down Jalen Polk. A gain of 15 yards, 2 plays, and the Huskies have the ball to the midfield stripe.
Yeah, they're going to try and pick up the tempo, change the tempo of this game, get right to the line of scrimmage.
Michigan leading it 17-3. We're early second quarter. Penix in a shotgun. Takes the snap, And hand off to Dylan Johnson, running right across the 50. Not much running room there. Junior Colson and Braden McGregor drop him after a short gain, give him a yard. Going to be second down for Washington.
I had a chance to talk to Braden McGregor this week, and I asked him about the discipline that it takes to play the edge in this defense, especially with so many different styles of offenses. And he does as good of a job as you're going to see of playing his position and understanding what his keys are. And on that one, did a great job of standing up the offensive tackle, setting the edge, and making a play.
Second down and 9 for the Huskies. 2 receivers split to the left, 2 to the right. Dylan Johnson in the backfield off the right hip of Michael Penix. Surveys the Michigan defense. Now we get a flag, takes the snap, and the play is blown dead.
Everybody's pointing at Washington. Looks like we got an illegal procedure. False start.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Now they kind of double clutched it. That was Parker Brailsford. So far in this game, the opposing team center has not been a story.
Not yet. But I tell you what, when you've got Chris Jenkins, Cam Good, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant lining up over top of you, you're bound to have a nervous hand.
Second down and 14 now for the Huskies. Back them up to their own 46-yard line. 2 receivers split to either side. Penix in a shotgun. Will Nixon in the backfield. Michigan showing blitz. Now they back out of it. Back to pass is Penix. Here comes the pass rush. And he just gets it off, looking for Polk. Incomplete. Downfield, Josh Wallace and Keon Sabb converging on Polk down the sideline at the Michigan 25-yard line. And I believe Wallace is going to get a pass breakup on that one.
Yeah, great job. They showed 6. They actually added a 7th. With Mikey Sanders still, and then ended up dropping 3, only rushed 4. This was my number one key for this defense, is to be able to put pressure on Michael Penix by only rushing 4. So far, we've seen them do that a couple of times, and on that one, it rushed the pass, got him outside, and it forced the incompletion.
Washington empty backfield with the ball on their own 46. They got to get it across the Michigan 40. Penix in a shotgun. And now we get a flag again, and the Michigan defense is pointing at the Washington Joe Moore award-winning offensive line, and it looks like they're going to be backed up 5 more.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So we've had a snap infraction by the center. Right guard now with the false start.
That's Julius Buelow.
And it's, you've got to threaten them. And that time they brought up Junior Colson and Mike Barrett, threatened to rush 6, bring linebackers.
Michigan on top 17-3, and Washington looking at a third down in Tacoma. They got 3 receivers split to the left, 2 to the right. Penix in an empty backfield. Ball on their own 41-yard line. Back to pass is Penix. Looking, fires over the middle. He's got his man inside Michigan territory, and he's dropped right there. As coming in to make the tackle for Michigan is Keon Sabb. It was Jalen McMillan over the middle when will Washington leave the offense on the field, looking at a 4th down and about 7.
Yeah, it looks like they are. That was a great job of rushing 4. You got a long developing stunt to take place because you're dropping 7. You think it's going to take the quarterback a little bit longer to find out, but they're going to go for it.
Wow, big play here in this ball game. As Kalen DeBoer has been known to roll the dice on 4th down. Looks like he wants to do it here. Empty backfield. No, they've got Will Nixon back there for the Huskies. 2 receivers split to either side. Penix back to pass on 4th and 7. He's going to fire. He's got a man wide open, and he overthrew him at the Michigan 20-yard line. Roma Dunze was wide open. That could have been a touchdown, and Penix just missed him. And is Penix hurt, or did his shoe come off?
Came off. Wow.
Shoe came off on the pass rush.
And
Michigan dodges a bullet there.
Oh, Utah, that was a great description because he was going to, that was a touchdown.
Blown coverage, and the Wolverines will take over with great field position on their own 47-yard line, leading 17-3 with 10:27 to go first half.
We got lucky on that last play. Michigan got a little cute, and they played a 0 coverage, but they rotated late to a cover 2, and Rod Moore didn't get the coverage. It's really hard in a 3-by-1, but he got to get that that call in that situation because that should have been a touchdown. The band should have been playing for Washington on that.
Yeah,
3-by-1, just real quick for people who don't know, it's 3 receivers to one side and 1 to the other.
Yeah, and one to the other. You can also have 2 over there, but any 3-by-1 or 3-by-2 is hard because it causes the backside rotation to be a little bit tougher.
You've got more distance to cover.
Yeah.
And Rod Moore saw it late, and when you do that, you're probably going to give up a completion, but Rod Moore would get there late and make a play. Because he didn't get that communication, that one should have been gone for a touchdown. Michigan definitely dodged the bullet on that one.
The most stunning part of that is that Michael Penix missed an open receiver.
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, you put him under pressure. Now all of a sudden, he starts seeing things or feeling things that might not be there, and maybe he's throwing it a split second earlier than he really wanted to throw it, causing another incompletion.
Wolverines have had the football 3 times. They've scored 3 times. They lead at 17-3 here with 10:27 to go in the first half. J.J. McCarthy in a shotgun. Michigan scrimmaging from their own 47-yard line. Roman Wilson in motion from left to right. J.J. hands the ball off to Blake Corum. Not much room there as he gets tripped up. And that one's going to go in the books as a short loss on first down.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see who that was. Was that Carson Bruner that came up? I mean, he was shot out of a gun. If they're going to start being aggressive and coming up to stop the run, which they're going to have to do at some point, now all of a sudden that play action, some deep routes, we got to see J.J. take a couple of shots. We got to have Sharon Moore call him, but J.J.'s going to take a couple shots downfield.
Pistol formation. Donovan Edwards back in the ball game. 2nd down and 10 for Michigan from their own 47-yard line. J.J. takes the snap. Play action, back to pass. J.J. looking downfield. And nobody open. He's going to roll to his right. He's going to fire, and he's got Colston Loveland running from the Washington bench. But he couldn't hang on to it at the 36-yard line, incomplete.
Sorry, Doug. I was actually watching Colston. I thought he was going to break free. Good coverage. But then as J.J. rolled out, we've seen this a number of different times. J.J. rolls to his side. The deep receiver comes back to the ball, and Colston Loveland. There's a catch that Colston Loveland normally makes and should have made on that play.
J.J.'s been great on 3rd and 7+ this year. He's 34 of 46 for 535 yards, 27 first downs, and 6 touchdowns. He's facing a 3rd and 10 here with 3 receivers split to the left, 1 to the right. Donovan Edwards in the backfield. J.J. takes the snap, back to pass. He's going to fire a stop route over the head of Cornelius Johnson, incomplete, out of bounds. And Michigan will be forced to punt for the first time in the ballgame.
Yeah, J.J. threw that one way too early. I know that there was a twist on the left side, but they did a good job. Ladarius Henderson passed off Braylon Trice to his guard, Trevor Keegan. They had it picked up. And I'm just not sure why he threw that one as quickly as he did. But it's incomplete, and we'll take a punt.
Tommy Doman on an outstanding year. Not the best game last week. We're not what we're accustomed to, as a chance to pin Washington deep. And he gets off a towering punt. This one's going to come down inside the 10 and land a yard deep in the end zone. And Washington will take over from the 20-yard line. 53 yards on the boot, bring it out to the 20. And with 9:29 to go in the first half, and Michigan 10, Washington trailing 17-3 from their own 20-yard line. Dylan Johnson back in the game, their 1,000-yard back, who's giving it a go on a bad foot tonight. Penix in a shotgun. 3 receivers split to the left. Penix takes the snap, back to pass. Looking downfield, here comes a pass rush. Penix corralled and dropped inside the 10. Kenneth Grant leading the Michigan tacklers, and they will spot him at the 8-yard line. Huge negative play, loss of 12 on first down for the Huskies as Kenneth Grant broke through the interior of that Joe Moore Award-winning offensive line.
And if you can win with 4 and drop 7, and they only rushed 4, you're going to have to get wins inside. The tackles for Washington are their best 2 offensive linemen. If you can win some one-on-one matchups, which Kenneth Grant was able to do, Mason Graham was right behind him, that poses big problems for Washington.
Ball on their own 8-yard line. Penix in a shotgun. They got to get it across the 30. On second down, Penix back to pass in his own end zone. Steps up, fires, and is it caught or was it short? Incomplete. They're going to say it was incomplete. Jalen McMillan out at the 28-yard line went to the ground and caught it on the hop. And Washington will be looking at a 3rd down and forever.
Yep, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, again, applying pressure up the middle. And I tell you what, these 2 guys right now are owning the interior of that offensive line. And Michael Penix is starting to feel the pressure. We've already seen some quick throws, some incompletions, that one to Rome Odunze. they're going to try and have to try and get that ball out of his hands a little bit quicker.
8:37 to go in the half. It's 3rd down and 21 for Washington. Penix in a shotgun bunch formation to the right, one receiver split left. Wolverines rolling the coverage off deep. Back to passes. Penix in his end zone, fires underneath. He's got his running back 15-20, met at the 21, and a swarm of Michigan tacklers, including Michael Barrett, Keon Sabb, bring him down 7 yards shy of the first down. And with this field position on 4th and 7, Kalen DeBoer will be forced to punt after the gain of 14.
Yeah, when you're used to getting 7.5 yards on first down, but you're ending up early on with 6-3-0, and now you start off with a sack, minus 12. This offense is out of sorts right now. They're not really sure what to do when they're so far behind the sticks.
The dangerous Samaj Morgan standing on his own 35-yard line. Catch the ball for Jack McAllister. Inside his 10. Will punt. He averages 41 yards per punt. Snap is good. McAllister's got it. Puts his right foot into it. And it's another low punt. It's going to bounce in front of Samaj, and another one of these rolls inside the 35 and will roll out of bounds at the Michigan 32-yard line. It's 2 short punts, but they got the roll, did the Huskies, and that one will be credited with 44 yards, and Michigan will take over on their own 33.
Yeah, I think they're trying to shoot some of those low ones that may bounce and roll because they do feel the threat of Samaj and the return game.
Yeah, he has to get his confidence back. Some of these balls, he could have come up and maybe fielded that, and you have to be confident at that position. You can't think about what happened before or the hesitation on the kickoff return, those things. A young player, he has to step up in this situation.
They might be trying to bait him after the fumble last week on a short punt. Wolverines from their own 32-yard line. Blake Corum off the right hip of J.J. McCarthy, who brings Tyler Morris in motion, and now it's a handoff to McCorum up the middle. Blake Corum across the 35 out to the 40, and at the 41-yard line, he is dragged down right up the middle. Taking his time was Blake Corum, weaving through tacklers, give him 7 yards.
Yeah, those tacklers are getting destroyed by Trevor Keegan coming around. He pulled from that left guard position, and I love it when you have a number 77 and a number 52 that are 15 yards downfield, still blocking their down linemen.
Alfonso Tupatawa on the tackle. Wolverines shift everybody out to the right. 3 receivers there on 2nd down and 2. Joel Mullings in the backfield, who will actually Alex Orji on a quarterback run right. He's got room across the 50 and steps out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Alex Orji checked into the game, and the Wolverines running threat at the quarterback spot goes for 13 yards on 2nd down. Move the chains as Michigan is into Washington territory.
Well, a great job going trips right. They had all of their skilled players on the right. They pulled left guard, left tackle, Trevor Keegan, and Ladarius Henderson. There was absolutely nobody backside, and Braylon Trice broke, outside contain, lack of discipline, and that's why Michigan was able to pick that one up.
Alex Orji continuing at quarterback for Michigan. Now they're shifting people all over the place. Edwards and Mullings flank to either side of Alex Orji. Now they bring Roman Wilson in motion. They'll go zone read. Orji up the middle, puts his head down, gets what he can inside the 45 down to the 44-yard line. Gain of 2 by Alex Orji.
Yeah, the read option, I think the better option on that one would have been to hand the ball off to Donovan Edwards. A little bit aggressive by Alex Orji. As soon as you see that linebacker declare and come in, you want to be able to hand that ball off.
6:04 to go first half. Michigan leading 17-3, looking at a 2nd down and 8. They break the huddle quickly. J.J. McCarthy back into quarterback. Pistol formation with Blake Corum behind it. Hand off to Corum, bounces outside, met by a tackler as he gets to the line of scrimmage and undercut. And he's dropped right there by Jabbar Muhammad, and we have an injured Husky, and that might be Muhammad.
Yeah, I think his something happened, looked like a shoulder as he tripped up Blake Corum. Blake Corum's not easy to bring down.
He got hurt late in the Sugar Bowl, did Muhammad, in a key situation on Texas's last drive. They had to bring in Thaddeus Dixon. Washington 17-3 here with 5:45 to go in the first half, and the Wolverines looking at a 3rd down and 8. The injured Husky, Jabbar Muhammad, came off the field and went straight to the injury tent. They were looking at his right shoulder or upper arm, and that means more run for Thaddeus Dixon, who's played plenty for them, a transfer from Long Beach Community College. He had 6 pass breakups on the year, and he played in a critical situation last week against Texas, and the Longhorns had the ball and a chance to win.
That's a big loss for them because that's the only player in the secondary that has like a late draftable grade. And he's a good player, so let's see.
Yeah, don't be surprised to see them attack Thaddeus Dixon.
Second team all Pac-12 was Jabbar Muhammad, and he's still in the tent. They're calling it 3rd and 7 for Michigan. They got to get it across the Washington 36-yard line. JJ in a shotgun. 2 receivers split to the left, 2 to the right. Donovan Edwards in the backfield off the left hip with JJ McCarthy. Washington showing blitz. Now they back everybody off as JJ surveys the defense. Now looks like he might want to change the play. He's got, play clock hasn't even started. All kinds of time. JJ brings Colston Loveland in motion, and they'll go inside handoff Donovan Edwards, and he'll power forward to the 40, inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line, setting up a 4th down and 3.
Yeah, I think this is one where Jim Harbaugh is going to go for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The punt team's gathering, but you're not going to gain much.
Telling them we want to go for it.
Or are they going to?
A.J. Ale, credit him with the tackle.
Wow.
And they're going to line up in punt formation.
This one's going to have to go straight up and straight down.
Watch for some shenanigans here. Maybe a shift to try and get Washington special teams to jump off sides. And we got a whistle and a timeout. Jim Harbaugh wants to think about it. Do you think he's going to change his mind, John Jansen?
I think he might. That ball punted away, landed right on the goal line.
Michigan, they're 2nd and a half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
I just don't know. I mean, if it goes into the end zone, right now the ball is at the, what we call that, the 39?
Yeah.
And you're only going to pick up, 14 yards? I'm not sure I see the point of not going for it.
In this situation, this is a great time to use some of those routes that we use against Alabama where guys are crossing the formation, going behind the line of scrimmage, because they're going to be in man-to-man in this situation. And the last time we were in man-to-man, they were able to get their hands on our receivers. But if you do the motion and do crossing routes, it plays to an advantage for us.
Yeah, and the other thing I like is, hey, we've shown run on 3rd down. We've shown run in situations like this. Let's keep the ball in JJ's hand and let him pick up the first. Use him as a threat in the run game.
Here comes the Michigan offense. So Jim Harbaugh sent the punt unit on and then changed his mind.
They're going to need a whole lot more guys out there.
Yeah, a couple offensive linemen checking in late with Arius Henderson and Trevor Keegan. Play clock hasn't even started, so they got all kinds of time. From the Washington 39-yard line, they got to get it across the 36. 4th down and 3. They shift everybody in tight. Blake Corum in the backfield. JJ in a shotgun. 4th and 3. Claps his hands, takes the snap, back to pass. Fires and tipped away from Roman Wilson. Trying to quick out to Roman Wilson. And it's batted away by Washington. And the Huskies will take over on downs. As that play was made by Edifon Ulufosio in coverage.
That's a little bit too predictable. We've run a lot of out routes and stop routes, individual routes backside. It's a little bit predictable, and I think Washington knew that as well.
Yeah, nice to know that the protection was there. He would have had a little bit more time, but all the routes were designed basically to pick up 1 extra yard than they needed. A quick hookup by A.J. Barner, Colston Loveland on the opposite side, 2 outs on both on the outsides.
17-3, Michigan on top, 4:43 to go first half. Washington with the football from the 39-yard line. Shotgun. Penix takes the snap, goes handoff Dylan Johnson across the 40 out to the 45-yard line when Michael Barrett gets on his back and rides him to the ground.
Well, that's what this offense is designed to do on first down. They want to split everybody out and then take some shots inside. We've seen pressure by the middle of this Michigan defense. We need to see some run stops.
45-yard line, empty backfield for Michael Penix. Clock running, 4:18 to go first half. Penix claps his hands, back to pass. Fires quickly, he's got his tight end. That's Westover into Michigan territory. Down to the 45-yard line, that's where they'll mark him. Jalen Harrell brings him to the ground. First down for the Huskies. Remember, they get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, so they have an opportunity here to try and piece together 2 straight possessions. They go quickly with a sweep to Dylan Johnson. Not much running room there as he gets across the 45. Putting his head down is Michael Barrett, dropping him to the ground right there. A gain of 2 on first down.
Nice job of recognition by Mike Barrett, getting outside, and you mentioned him putting his head down, but getting his body across the body.
2nd down and 8, 3:30 to go. Washington with 3 receivers to the right. Will Nixon now in the backfield. Penix in a shotgun. They put Nixon in motion. Back to pass is Penix. Here comes the rush. Fires underneath. He's got one of his receivers at the 40 to the 35. It's Roma Dunze down to the 34. Good for the first down with 3:15 to go in the first half. Washington trying to claw their way back into this one. Michigan has dominated the first half. They lead at 17-3. Well, this is one of the most explosive offenses in the country. From the 34-yard line, again, the Huskies going fast. Nixon continues in the backfield. 3 receivers split to the right. Penix surveys the defense. Now he'll take his time. Plenty of time on the play clock. Now he's got the snap back to pass. Fires underneath. Westover 30, 25. And Michael Barrett amongst the Michigan tacklers. They drop him right there along with Junior Colson. Good for another first down down to the Michigan 23-yard line. A lot of short stuff. A little too easy here.
Well, they're trying to threaten downfield with Roma Dunze and McMillan, and right now they're just hitting all the short routes underneath. Michigan's backing off just a little bit too much, giving too much credit to that outside pass game.
1st and 10 from the Michigan 23. Penix, play action, back to pass, fires quickly, incomplete. Looking for his running back out of the backfield. McCarthy Page there in coverage. Check that. That was Pope, the intended receiver. Incomplete. 2nd down, stopping the clock with 2:17 to go. And the Wolverines with a 14-point lead.
Good discipline. That was that RPO that we've seen Washington run a few times, especially in the last couple of games against Texas. And you got to be able to be disciplined, tackle the running back, and be able to cover that receiver. Nice job by the Michigan defense.
2nd and 10 for the Huskies. Empty backfield for Penix. Barks some commands at his offensive line. Now he's ready to go. Claps his hands, takes the snap, back to pass. Wolverines bring a blitzer. They're going to fire far side. There's some contact down there. Incomplete into the end zone. No flag. It looked like the receiver out there, Odunze, ran into Josh Wallace. At least that's what I'm assuming happened, why there was no flag.
You know, Roma Odunze stumbled off the line of scrimmage because Josh Harris played him tight and then backed up. So he's anticipating getting hit, and he stumbled by himself.
All right, well, Husky fans didn't like it. Now their team's looking at a 3rd down and 10. 2:13 to go in the half. Michigan up 17-3. 3 receivers split to the right. Penix in a shotgun. Big play here. Claps his hands. Back to pass is Michael Penix looking. Going to fire over the middle. Looking for his receiver. Incomplete. Inside the numbers, and this time we do have a flag. Mikey Sainristil doesn't like to call. Jalen McMillan was the intended receiver, and they're going to get a first down on a defensive pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Mikey held him unnecessarily because that ball was out of reach. I don't think he was able to get to that ball, so he panicked and held.
That moves the ball inside the Michigan 10-yard line down to the 8. 1st and goal for the Huskies. 2:08 to go in the first half.
Yeah, you don't want to get out of position. You also don't want to be in a position to make a panic play like that.
Bunch formation to the left. Now they shift everybody to the right. Dylan Johnson in the backfield. From the 8, 1st and goal, Penix in a shotgun. Claps his hands, takes the snap, inside handoff to Dylan Johnson. Got in the backfield, breaks 1 tackle, and gets down to the 5-yard line. Mikey Barrett had him dead to rights in the backfield, but Johnson, limping back to the huddle, escaped that tackle, put his head down, and got down to the 5. 2nd and goal, clock running, minute 53 to go in the half.
I'll tell you what, Dylan Johnson's a tough running back. He's hard to bring down, and when he runs with good leverage, you're not going to tackle him with an arm tackle. We saw some sure-handed tacklers there, like a Junior Colson and Mike Barrett, come away empty.
Now Penix will take a snap from under center. Goes toss sweep to Dylan Johnson running right. Hit as he gets to the 5-yard line and dropped right there. And Jim Harbaugh races to the official to call a timeout with a minute 29 to go. No gain on the run. It's going to be 3rd and goal from the 5 for the Huskies.
I tell you what, McCarthy Page did a great job. We've seen this early on in the game where Washington wants to pull their offensive linemen. They're athletic offensive linemen. They want to get them out in space and get them on safeties, get them on corners. And McCarthy Page did a great job of dipping out and around and then getting back into his rush lane to be able to make that play.
That was a special football play. It happened right in front of me. I just knew that was a walk-in touchdown. McCarthy Page right there was more physical to the attack, defeated the blocker, and delivered a shot to him. It was amazing.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was Julius Boilo, their right guard, and a nice job of just avoiding the block, avoiding the blow, and being able to make a tackle.
So here we go. Washington back on the field, trailing 17-3, looking at a 3rd and 5 with 1:31 to go in the half. They break the huddle quickly. 2 receivers split to the left, 1 to the right. Michael Penix in a shotgun with Dylan Johnson in the backfield. Penix claps his hands, takes the snap, going to go quarterback run right. And the Wolverines swarm in at the 5-yard line and drop him at the 3. Chris Jenkins was out there. Will Johnson, Mike Barrett. And it'll be 4th and goal, and we'll see what Kalen DeBoer decides to do. Does he take the points knowing he gets the football to start the second half? Or does he go for it and try to get some momentum into the halftime locker room?
Well, I think he's going to take this play clock down as far as he possibly can. Jim Harbaugh doesn't have any more timeouts left.
Washington breaks the huddle on 4th and 3. Huge play here. Penix in a shotgun. 1 receiver split to the right, 2 to the left. Penix surveys the Michigan defense, takes the snap, back to pass. Here comes the rush. Penix fires over the middle, caught, touchdown. Flag is down. Flag is down. We'll see what it is. It's Jalen McMillan in the back of the end zone.
Chris Jenkins was signaling. Oh, looks like they're going to get Michigan for some type of infraction in the secondary.
Well, if that's the case, then the touchdown stands, and Washington has a chance to make this a 7-point game with 42 seconds to go in the half.
Holding. Defense, number 2. After he declined, he's over plays the touchdown.
So Jalen McMillan with the touchdown. He scored last week in the Sugar Bowl. Now adds a touchdown here. 11 plays, 61 yards over 4 minutes. And Washington has cut the Michigan lead to 17-10. Brady Gross on for the extra point. Snap is low, fielded cleanly, and put down for Gross. Kick is up, and kick is good. So the Huskies have fought back. And now with 42 seconds to go, and as we've mentioned several times, Washington getting the opening kickoff of the second half could be a huge swing in momentum. Michigan did not convert their 4th and 3. Washington did.
Yep, and you got to find a way to extend your possessions. Don't cover in this game. You can't trade score for score or empty possession for empty possession. When Washington has empty possession, even if it's a field goal, you've got to be able to put points on the board. You got to keep adding them up because this Washington team could score points in a hurry, and they could score a lot of them.
I'm sure the Wolverines would love to get the ball into James Turner field goal range. He was good out to 52. The deepest he tried in pregame warm-up. But they also got to get J.J. McCarthy going. He's just 3 of 8 for 55 yards right now.
Yeah, and a couple of low percentage throws on those 4th down throws, 3rd and short throws. I'd really like to see them get the tight ends more involved in the offense.
Brady Gross will kick off. Samaj Morgan standing on his own goal line. And will signal for a fair catch and make it at the 3, and Michigan will take over at the 25-yard line. Wolverines had some huge runs earlier in this game. Blake Corum went 59 yards, Donovan Edwards 46 and 41 yards. Michigan has 4 ball carriers, all in more than 10 yards rushing, including Kalel Mullins. He's got 14 yards, and Alex Orji, check that, 21 yards for Kalel Mullins. Alex Orji has 15 yards rushing. But do they try and throw it here? They're going to go 4 wide with Donovan Edwards in the backfield from the 25-yard line. Again, 42 seconds to go in the half. Michigan leading 17-10. J.J. McCarthy claps his hands, back to pass. J.J. fires over the middle. Colston Loveland, 35, 40, down the middle of the field. Colston Loveland out to the 44-yard line. That's where he's jumped. Stop the clock on the first down with 37 seconds to go in the half.
Just about hustle. Got to get up, get set. Nice route by Colston Loveland. Little out route. Come back inside. Easy pitch and catch.
19 yards on the play. J.J. in a shotgun. They start the clock. Back to pass is J.J. Fires far side. He's got his man there, and it's Cornelius Johnson who doesn't get out of bounds. He could have stepped out of bounds. Now the clock is running. Michigan again out of timeout.
Yeah, as a senior, you got to know, hey, when you're that close, yeah, you got to get out of bounds.
19 seconds to go in the half. J.J. we've got to spike it with 16 seconds to go. That's just not a mistake you can make.
That's a critical error. You got to know what the situation is, where you are on the field. It's not about trying to get that extra yard in this situation. It's about saving seconds on the clock. Got to get out of bounds.
Yeah, that's not the Michigan way right there. I didn't like that. That was a mindless play.
3rd down and 3 for Michigan from the Washington 49-yard line. 16 seconds to go in the half. Wolverines on top 17-10. They got to get it across the 46. JJ in a shotgun with a bunch formation to the right. Back to pass is JJ. Fires downfield and overthrows Cornelius Johnson and out of bounds. Does Jim Harbaugh dare take a chance here on 4th and 3?
Kick it away. Kick it away because...
I don't know, because with just 12 seconds to go...
Washington has a timeout.
I know, but a play would take 3-4 seconds off the clock. It would give Washington maybe just one play.
Yeah, but you're within throwing range of the end zone. If you punt, you're going to take that same 3-4 seconds off the clock.
Well, it looks like Jim Harbaugh agrees with me, because he's left the offense on the field, but the play clock's down to 8, so I don't know.
Nothing's going to happen here.
Put it down. They're going to take the flag on the delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Well, a couple of good throws from JJ that drive, but what really killed them, though, was the 10-15 seconds they lost when Cornelius Johnson didn't step out of bounds. Then they had to waste the down, spiking it. It'd be 3rd down right now if he just stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, but I tell you what, that's not a bad penalty there to just go ahead and take it, because you got such a good leg in Tommy Doman. You don't want to kick this one into the end zone. You want to try and pin him somewhere inside the 15, ideally inside the 10.
Tommy Doman, one of the best in the country in terms of hang time, takes the snap and puts his right foot into it. And Jeremy Bernard is going to let it bounce, and it is going to be inside the 10. It's going to roll down to the 2-yard line, and that's where Michigan will down it with 3 seconds to go in the half. But Washington could just take a knee and get to the locker room after the 52-yard punt from Tommy Doman. While the Michigan offense scored their first 3 possessions, then they haven't done much since.
No, they've got to find a way to get their mojo back. It is simply the confidence that they were playing with. Everything seemed to be working. Washington made some adjustments. They started moving that line, and they're bringing up a safety. They're bringing in extra linebackers to try and stop the run. And right now, with J.J. being 5 of 11, there's really not much of a threat that they're going to threaten you deep or go for a big play, an explosive play in the pass game.
Huskies in a victory formation. Looks like they'll just have Penix take a knee at the 1-yard line, and that's exactly what they do. And we'll head to the halftime locker room with Michigan on top, 17-10. So you like the lead. You like the way the run game's been performing. But if there's such a thing as momentum in football, it feels like it's in this Husky locker room.
Well, it is. But, hey, you got to, when Michigan gets in the locker room, the coaches got to settle them down and say, hey, you're still up by a touchdown. They're going to get the ball. You got to find a way to go out there and reset the tone. Jim Harbaugh talks about tone setters all the time, whether it's Jalen Harrell, Mason Graham, Bakari Page, Rob Moore, Mikey Samuelsville. They've got a lot of guys that can set the tone defensively in the second half. You've got to be able to come out in that first possession and do it.
Wolverines on top 17-10 here at halftime. Michigan is 14-0 and 30 minutes away from a national championship. They lead at 17-10 here at the half. Down in Houston, second half action coming up. Jim Harbaugh just addressed his team in the Michigan locker room. Jason Avant has the coach's thoughts.
Coach Harbaugh would like let the team know, needs to get the ball back for offense. Needs to get the ball back and get back in rhythm. Continue to smash up front. We can run the ball inside. Look for cutback lanes. We're going to run the ball, and we're going to do everything. We're going to give everything we have in this half. Defense, constant communication. Defense gets set. There's a lot of guys talking to me right now. Sorry about that.
It's quite all right.
Let's tackle and space, no cheap yards. Let's get the momentum back. Let's play our best half of football, be aggressive, physical, and get the energy up in the second half.
Well, we know that Jason is very popular down there, and interesting, he said that Jim Harbaugh emphasized run the ball in the second half.
Yeah, and that's what was working for him in the first quarter. They got away from him in the second. Here's a couple of numbers for you. 13 plays, 229 yards of offense in the first quarter. 16 plays, 61 yards in the second quarter. A dramatic difference.
Tommy Doman puts his right foot into it and sails it through the back of the end zone, and Daniel Ngata will let it go, and Washington will take over. Down by 7 from the 25-yard line, and we'll see if the Michigan defense actually played pretty well. The 10 points allowed by Michigan's defense, the second fewest Washington has scored in the first half all year. They had 3 against Arizona State.
Yeah, and obviously Michigan's defense has been the consistent part of this team the entire season. They played well in the first half. Offense has to continue to be consistent and support them throughout the course of the rest of the game.
Washington will move right to left here in the third quarter. Tybo Rogers in the backfield shifts out of there as Penix is back to pass on first down. Pump fakes, now is firing in, and it's intercepted. No, dropped. Oh, Will Johnson, did he catch it?
Yeah, he did.
Did he catch it? He did. Will Johnson comes up with an interception right in front of the Washington bench. He bobbled it and then plucked it right off the turf. We're going to have to see a replay to see if he did indeed secure it before it hit the ground, but the official right there, right on top of it.
I think he got it. The concern is, did he stay in bounds? And I think he did.
We're going to have to see a replay. If indeed he went to the ground with the football at the Washington 32-yard line, and there couldn't be a better start to the half than that.
That was great defense by the Washington receiver to try to break up the pass, and also a great pass rush by the defensive line that made Penix feel uncomfortable and throw that ball up in the air like that.
We're going to see an end zone view of this one. Penix got hit. It was Mason Graham forcing his man back into Penix. I think he's inbounds, and I think he caught it based upon the replay from the end zone.
Here we go.
Here's a tight shot.
Oh, yeah, I think he's got it.
Very close.
There's no more confident player than Will Johnson. He already has the buffs on.
Well, it's Michigan football. They're holding up play. I think it's going to stand, and Michigan has it at the Washington 32. What a huge play to start the second half. First turnover of the ball game. Michigan has it 1st and 10 from the 32. It's Blake Corum up the middle, makes a man miss in the backfield across the 30 down to the 29, where he's swarmed under by a number of Washington tacklers.
Yeah, nice job of making the guy miss in the backfield, picking up what he could.
Elijah Jackson leading the way.
You know, I'm going to go back to that interception real quick. That was created because Mason Graham put pressure on Michael Penix, got him off his mark, threw it off his back foot. He was just trying to throw it out of bounds, and Will Johnson made a great play on the ball.
Gain of 3 for Blake Corum on first down. 2nd down and 7 from the Washington 29. J.J. McCarthy shifts Corum from right to left. Now he'll go up the middle. Blake Corum, big hole, 20. Tripped up across the 20, down to the 16-yard line. First down, Elijah Jackson again on the tackle. Moved the chains, a gain of 13 yards from the senior running back.
That was as explosive a play. I mean, as soon as Blake Corum had that ball, right off of the right guard's butt, Carson Barnhart, and in between Trente Jones, I mean, he hit that hole with a vengeance.
Elijah Jackson saved the touchdown. From the 16-yard line, pistol formation. Roman Wilson split to the right, Cornelius Johnson wide left. And we get false start. Movement on Michigan up front. That'll set them back 5 yards. By the way, Jabbar Muhammad is back out there for the Huskies, the injured.
False start. Offense. Everyone but the center. 5-yard penalty. What's that?
So what that means is Drake Nugent didn't snap the ball.
But he blames everybody but the guy who's probably most guilty.
Yeah, but you can't have moments like that. A big play by Blake Corum, big first down. You're inside the 20-yard line, and now all of a sudden, hey, you're sitting at 1st and 15, now outside the 20 again.
Get you behind the sticks here. JJ's in a shotgun. 2 receivers split to either side. Blake Corum in the backfield. Washington showing a 4-man front. Holston Loveland comes in motion. JJ takes the snap, hand off to Corum up the middle across the 20 down to the 19, gain of 2 on 1st and 15.
Well, it was a gain of 2.
Ulofoshio on the tackle for the Huskies.
On the first one there, and then Blake Corum ripped off a big run. It'd be nice to see a nice 2nd down run here again by Blake, but I really think at some point, because they're playing so tight to the line of scrimmage, the Washington safeties, they're going to have to test that secondary and go downtown a little bit.
Donovan Edwards in the backfield, and now we get another whistle, and the Wolverines move again.
Yep. I think that was Trevor Keegan.
Shooting themselves in the foot.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Darius Henderson.
Yep. A little flinch, and You're not going to get away with that one. So now you're sitting at, what, 2nd and 19.
Ball's on the 24-yard line. They got to get it across the 6. JJ in a shotgun. Donovan Edwards in the backfield. They bring Colston Loveland in motion from right to left. JJ back to pass. Look, he's going to fire, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Ball's on the ground. They're saying incomplete. It's going to make it 3rd and long.
So what Washington is trying to do with those two, procedure penalties is they're trying to time out Michigan's snap, and they're moving that defensive front right before Michigan snaps the ball, causing Darius Henderson on that last one to flinch just a split second early. And they got to find a way to get something in the middle of the field.
3rd down and 18 from the 24-yard line. JJ in an empty backfield. Got to hurry here. 7 on the play clock. They shift Donovan Edwards into the backfield. JJ back to pass. Looking downfield. It's going to fire crossing route. Colston Loveland has it at the 20, but he's dropped right away. Well short of the sticks as he is dragged down by Mish Powell and Elijah Jackson. And that'll bring on James Turner to try a field goal from the left hash.
They just haven't been able to capitalize on some of the big plays. Whether it was the interception by Will Johnson, now you might settle for just 3. It was that big, 54-yard run by Blake Corum. 59-yard run, and they had to settle for 3 on that one, too.
38 yards here for James Turner to try and extend Michigan's lead here early 3rd quarter. Snap is clean. Ball set down. Turner's kick is on the way, and Turner's kick is good. So they do get something out of it, a 38-yard field goal. James Turner still perfect on the year from inside of 40. Michigan leads it 20-10 with 11:55 to go in the 3rd quarter. This Michigan, the overall turn of events there to start the 3rd quarter, a net positive. Michigan gets an interception on the first play of the 3rd quarter by Will Johnson, and then a 38-yard field goal from James Turner, and Michigan extends its lead to 20-10 here in the national championship game. And John, I know you're disappointed. You want 7 every time they have the ball, but overall, good start to the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, you made a good point where if you had told me before Michigan came out that it would be an interception and a field goal, yeah, I would have been happy. But this ball, they had the ball at the 11-yard line in this drive, at the 16-yard line, and it was penalty after penalty. That's what's frustrating, is that it wasn't because Washington stopped them. Michigan simply stopped themselves.
So Washington will get the football back. Wolverines hoping to give them the length of the field to go, and with the way Tommy Tillman's been kicking tonight, I'll say they may as well put the ball at the 25-yard line, but Tillman puts his right foot into this one, and Ngata is back there. He's kind of ornamental as he lets it go over his head and deep into the end zone. Touchback, and Washington will take over at the 25-yard line.
Another opportunity for Michigan's defense to continue to set the tone here in the second half. Obviously, that interception, it was set up by the pressure by Mason Graham, but there are 2 guys right now that are dominating at the line of scrimmage. It is 55 Mason Graham and 78 Kenneth Graham. Both of those guys are just playing with the interior of that Washington offensive line.
Washington breaks the huddle, goes empty backfield here for Penix. Michigan showing a 4-man front. Now they'll shift Dylan Johnson into the backfield off the left hip with Penix. Surveys the defense, claps his hands, takes the snap. Inside handoff, Dylan Johnson hesitates, finds a hole on the right side, puts his head down and drives forward to the 29-yard line, where he is stopped right there in the pile. Showed some patience. Kenneth Grant at the bottom of the pile for Michigan.
They did a good job of setting that one up because Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, good at the point of attack. Linebackers just guessed wrong.
Washington going quickly to the line of scrimmage. Punch formation to the left. Penix takes the snap. He's going to fire that way to McMillan. 30, 35, and knocked out of bounds. Correction, that's a Dunze at the 37-yard line. Good for a first down for Roma Dunze.
That's about as quick of a flip from a quarterback as you're going to see. That ball was in and out of his hands. He didn't even take a step. His feet were cemented into the ground, and he just flipped that ball out to Romo Dunze. That's why Michael Penix can be real dangerous.
Keon Sabb on the tackle for Michigan.
Got such a strong arm, and for the most part, other than that miss to Romo Dunze, he is extremely accurate.
Wolverines sub late. They hustle Mike Sainristil on and get Keon Sabb off. 1st and 10 Washington. Penix back to pass, play action fake, fires underneath. He's got his running back, 40, 45, breaks his tackle, puts his head down at the 50. That's Culp, the tight end, and he is dropped right there and driven out of bounds, and now we got a flag. I'm going to say the Wolverines a little too aggressive once he was in the white area, and that tack on 15 more as Washington's moved the ball into Michigan territory. 14 yards on the catch to Culp. Tight end 2 for them.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 7, 15-yard penalty.
Makari Page, the guilty party.
Well, again, it's self-inflicted wounds, and you can't be too aggressive. You've got to maintain your composure throughout 60 minutes of this football game. They're gifting Washington opportunities here.
From the 34-yard line, Penix in a shotgun. One receiver split left, 2 to the right. Penix takes the snap. Back to pass, fires over the middle. It's tapped up in the air and falls incomplete. Looks like Kenneth Grant got his hand up there and batted that pass up in the air, and it falls right in the middle of the Michigan defense with a bunch of Wolverines closing in. It'll be second down after the incompletion.
Nice job of pressing the interior of that pocket. And if you're not going to get home, I mean, nobody with a longer wingspan right now than Kenneth Grant up front.
Tybo Rogers, the freshman in the backfield, and he will take a handoff. The hole closes quickly, and he is dropped as he gets just across the line of scrimmage. Josiah Stewart leading the Michigan tacklers. There was some space there, but Stewart, Mason Graham getting the job done. Kenneth Grant in there as well.
And Josiah Stewart did a really nice job of shedding the block. Last week we saw him do it against big offensive linemen. This time it was against the tight end.
Third down and 8 for Washington. Penix in a shotgun from the Michigan 32-yard line. Big play here, might be 4-down territory. Now they go empty set. Penix looks over the Michigan defense who've overloaded to the right side. Penix takes the snap back to pass. Here comes a free runner. Toss over the middle. It's caught by Westover, and he's dropped immediately right there, short of the first down. And was it Josiah Stewart on the tackle? Indeed it was. It'll be 4th down, and it looks like Grady Gross will come on and try and get Washington 3 points closer.
Well, it's nice that the Michigan's defense was finally able to take a stand. And again, it really centers around being able to be effective on first down. This is an offense that is used to being at second and short. You force them into second and long situations followed by a third and long, and it's really hard for them to operate.
Ball's right in the middle of field for Gross. This will be a 45-yard attempt. Michigan leading 20-10, trying to cut into the lead. Snap is good. Gross puts his foot into it. The kick is on the way, and the kick is good from Grady Gross, the second field goal of the game. And Michigan's lead is chopped back to 7, 20-13.
All of Washington's scoring opportunities were aided by Michigan mistakes. Keon Sapp missed tackle, Mikey Stanverstill holding, and then a penalty on the sideline that possession.
That did move them into field goal range. Wolverines lead it 20-13 with 8:58 to go. Third quarter. Karsh, John Jansen, Jason Avant back in Houston. Michigan leading Washington 20-13 midway through quarter number 3, and the Wolverines set to get the football back. Wolverines and Huskies playing for the 15th time here in the national championship game. They will play for the 16th time on October 5th in Seattle, a Big Ten game.
Yes, it's nice to be able to welcome new members to the Big Ten here in the national championship game. And you know what, Doug, you and I talk about history in football all the time, especially in college football where it really is important. This is an opportunity. It's one data point, one mark, but it's an opportunity to create a little history for a new member of the Big Ten.
Grady Gross has the ball on the tee at the 35-yard line. Samaj Morgan standing with his heels on the Michigan goal line. Every kick has been returnable, although this one might not be, as Samaj will let it sail over his head and into the end zone, and Michigan will take over at the 25-yard line. They're coming.
Well, I'd like to see a little more creativity with the offense. They've found some success at times and some big plays running between the tackles, but I'd like to see him try and get to the edge, maybe be a little get back to some of that pre-snap motion that we saw earlier in the game, try and confuse the defense, but the passing attack has been pretty much non-existent tonight.
Third formation here. It's a double pistol. JJ in a shotgun with both Mullings and Edwards directly behind him. And now they split them to either side. JJ claps his hands, takes the snap, hands it to Edwards running right, hesitates, tries to bounce it outside, turns the corner at the 25 out to the 29-yard line where he's shoved out of bounds. A gain of 4 on first down. He had Khalil Mullings as his lead blocker. Good game.
There you go. Show that you can get to the edge. It's a nice 5-yard pickup. Get outside. loosen up this defense a little bit, and then you can always counter back inside with another inside run, try and get another big play.
He put a move on Tuitele with a little hesitation move, did Donovan. 2nd down and 6. JJ in a shotgun. Motions Colston Loveland from left to right. Donovan Edwards in the backfield. Now Roman Wilson comes in motion. Check out, that's Tyler Morris. Yo-yo's in and out. Handoff up the middle. Donovan Edwards across the 30 with a burst. Gets out to the 32 where Dominic Hampton comes up from his safety spot to knock him down. They give him the 33. Michigan 0 for 5 on 3rd down, so a big play here. Washington trailing by 7. 8:03 to go, 3rd quarter.
Yeah, this is where you don't have to get fancy, but I'd like to see something off tackle, maybe right off Trente Jones' backside. He's been a good job. He's done a really good job of controlling Brown Ice.
Snap, shotgun, handoff, play Corum, running right, nothing there. He gets swarmed under. Carson Bruner leading the tacklers for Washington. His dad, Mark, played for Washington and scored 2 touchdowns against Michigan in the 92 and 93 Rose Bowls, and now his son has come up with a big 3rd down stop, a loss of 1, and Washington's going to get the football back.
Yeah, when you're running double teams at the point of attack, you got to get off on the linebacker. You got to stay square. You get your shoulders turned, you create a crease, and you're never able to get off on the linebacker.
Tommy Doman will punt for Michigan, and it's Jeremy Bernard standing on his own 21-yard line. Doman gets off a high spiral. Bernard signals for a fair catch. Ball comes down, and he makes it at the 26-yard line. Bernard, was that Giles Jackson back there? Bernard's a normal punt returner, but Giles Jackson, the Michigan transfer, fielded that 42-yard punt, and Washington gets the ball back at their own 26-yard line, down 20-13 with 6:58 to go, 3rd quarter. This is Mike John Jansen. The Michigan defense played very well against Michael Penix and this high-powered offense, and they are asking the defense to protect the 7-point lead here.
Yeah, and they've basically been in that bend, don't break. We've had some quick passes from Michael Penix, gained some yards, but nothing deep. The one opportunity they had was an incompletion to Romo Duze. He was wide open, but for the most part, this secondary has done a good job of shutting down the passing attack of Washington.
Shotgun for Penix with Dylan Jackson in the backfield. Dylan Johnson, puts a man in motion. Penix overseeing the defense, now takes a snap, back to pass, fires to his tight end. He's got it at the 30-yard line and dropped immediately as Jack Westover. Keon Sabb, Ernest Hausman out there as well. A gain of 5 on 1st down.
It's like that slow drip out of your faucet. They're just going to keep trying to nickel and dime you down the field until there's a breakdown. And when you got a guy like Michael Penix, he's going to notice that breakdown. It's his 6th year. He's as experienced as you're going to be. He's a smart quarterback, and he'll take that shot. You've got to be disciplined in the secondary.
Washington with 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Johnson in the backfield. Penix in a shotgun. Takes the snap, back to pass, fires. He's got Polk, 30, 35, Polk to the 40. Polk dropped at the 42-yard line by Rod Moore coming up from the safety spot. Another one of those quick passes.
Yep, wide receiver screen. You get the right guard, right tackle out in the blocking scheme, and it's really hard to defend with so many white shirts and white bodies flying around out there. Got to find a way to shut that one down.
12 yards for Polk. Ball at the Washington 42-yard line. Penix in a shotgun. We got the tight end and 3 receivers to the left. Tybo Rogers in the backfield. Now they motion McMillan. Penix play action, back to pass. They fire to McMillan, who was dumped by Jalen Harrell. The intended receiver was laying on the ground. It falls incomplete. McMillan a little slow getting up. It'll be 2nd down for Washington as the Wolverines blew up that screen pass.
Yeah, Jalen Harrell was just rushing upfield, and I think he just ran into Polk as he was coming across the formation.
Yeah, he undercut. It was McMillan. He undercut.
Yeah, McMillan, yeah.
That looked uncomfortable for McMillan. All right, now they go empty backfield on 2nd and 10. Michigan on top, 20-13, 5:37 to go, 3rd quarter. Empty backfield for Penix. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Penix back to pass. Wolverines not getting through. Deep ball to Polk, overthrows him at the Michigan 10-yard line as he took a shot. Running in phase down there, Josh Wallace, who's having an outstanding year, the transfer from UMass. Keon Sabb was coming over from the safety spot. And incomplete, setting up a 3rd and 10 for Washington.
Yeah, I was a little concerned because they had Junior Colson out here lined up one-on-one with the running back, and I thought that's where Michael Penix was initially going to go. I'm not sure he recognized it.
3rd and 10 for the Huskies. 2 receivers split to either side. Dylan Johnson in the backfield. Penix brings a man in motion. Now he shifts a man out wide to the left. Wolverines showing blitz on this 3rd down. And they back off. Now we get flags all over the place.
Left guard moved.
And back up Washington 5 yards. Nate Caleppo.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Caleppo might have set a record. He gained 12 pounds on Washington's trip to the Sugar Bowl.
Really? I'd like to know how he did that.
That food in New Orleans can get you.
Oh, man, that's a lot of jambalaya, some beignets. That sounds like a great trip. Maybe a little bananas Foster.
3rd and 15 now for Washington. Ball on the 37-yard line. Bunch formation to the left with 3 receivers. 1 receiver split wide right. Big play here for the Michigan defense, trying to get off the field. Penix surveys the Michigan defense. Wolverines back out of a blitz. Penix back to pass. Going to fire deep down the far sideline. Up for it is Adunze. Does he come down with it? He might, but he's out of bounds, they say, on the far side. And Washington will be forced to punt.
And there's really no opportunity for him to be able to come down with that ball inbounds.
That's an offensive pass interference that they just got away with.
He pushed off Will Johnson, did Adunze?
Yeah, it was great coverage by Will Johnson, but definitely pushed him in order to get that last-minute separation.
You see the replay, he didn't come down with it either, so incomplete. And Jake Thaw now to return this Michigan punt, standing on the 21-yard line. McAllister back to punt, puts his right foot into it, gets off a short punt again. This one will land at the 30 and roll inside the 20. Here we go again, inside the 10, down to the 9, to the 7-yard line, and this has been the story all night. McAllister with these ugly rollers, but this one went for 56 yards. You have to wonder if you put somebody else up short to field that punt.
It's a hard punt to catch because you'd have to be in the exact right spot. You're not going to run and catch it, and it's a dirty looking punt.
Well, bad field position for Michigan's offense with a 20-13 lead and 5:11 to go 3rd quarter. Hey, when you're
Doug, I'm trying to get you to switch your thinking just a little bit.
Okay.
Yes, some may say poor field position. Some may also say that you have an opportunity to add 93 yards to your offensive total. Michigan has shown, the first 2 drives started inside the 15-yard line, and they were able to methodically go down the field, and then it finished with a couple of big Donovan Edwards runs. If they can get back to that same rhythm, at some point, there's 2 things that need to happen. You're going to have to be able to get your tight ends involved and attack the center of the field. The other thing is, at some point here in the second half, J.J. McCarthy is going to have to be a factor in the run game. That read option. You can't just bring Orji in all the time and try and run it with the quarterback. We saw it in the 4th quarter in the Rose Bowl, 16 yards. I thought we were going to see more of that today, and I think that would help loosen some things up on the inside.
Well, I agree with you. Another thing that we can do in this situation is to start to air the ball out on 1st down.
Yep.
That's one of those things that will be a tendency breaker for our team, and we have to come up with a little bit more creativity. It's time for a double move, like a stop route and go, or out and up, some of those things in order to get back off this defense.
Well, Michigan opened this game in dominant fashion by rushing for 174 yards in the 1st quarter on 9 carries. Michigan outgained Washington in the 1st quarter 229-74. But in the 2nd quarter and so far in the 3rd quarter, it's been Washington with the yardage advantage, 134-90. But Michigan has the football with a 7-point lead, which going into the game, 3rd quarter, we would take. And the Michigan defense has done a great job on this prolific Washington offense.
And if you're sitting here going, okay, 134-90, yeah, it's not great for Michigan being under 100 yards in that length of time, but being able to hold Michael Penix and this offense to 134 yards, and quite honestly, so far 208 in the game. That is, I mean, the defense right now is playing at an extremely high level.
Michigan has a pair of 100-yard rushers, Blake Corum and Dominic Edwards, each of them with 101 yards rushing. It feels like most, if not all of that, was early.
Yep.
And now the Wolverines with an opportunity here to add to their yardage total.
That's my man right there.
Their own 7-yard line. J.J. McCarthy in a shotgun. Blake Corum in the backfield. First and 10, Wolverines. J.J. takes the snap. Hands it off to Corum. Tries to bounce it outside, and he gets swarmed under as he gets to the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. Dominic Hampton comes up from his safety spot and gets the stop. It'll be second down for Michigan.
You know, I mean, that's another opportunity there where Blake Corum is running to the open side. You've got nobody else out there. You got trips right. You got another receiver outside for J.J. to run the read option, take the handoff to Blake Corum, and then bring it back around where all your blockers are. But just to show the threat of J.J. running the football.
Two receivers split to the right, one to the left. J.J. in a shotgun, takes the snap, hands it off. Corum up the middle. Not much running room there. It's a yard, maybe two.
Feels like Michigan came out in the first quarter with the idea that, hey, we're going to attack this Washington defense. And since then, it's let's get the lead with the attack, and then let's just hold on.
Zion Tapulo, Fatui, and Braden Trice combined on that tackle. Third down and 8, Michigan. From their own 9-yard line, they got to get it across the 17. Three receivers will split out wide to the right, one to the left. J.J. in a shotgun. Back to pass is J.J. Here comes the rush. Steps up. He's going to run. 10, 15. J.J. 20. Still going. 25. And gets hit as he gets across the 30. First down. J.J. McCarthy. There's the QB run as he outran the Washington defense and moves the chains. Dominic Hampton on the tackle. 22 yards for number 9.
I don't care if it's a design run or it's a broken pass protection. You see the effect that a quarterback that is mobile, that can go and pick up first downs. Washington thought that they had Michigan pinned deep and we're going to get the ball back. J.J. said, not so fast.
Huge run there for J.J. who takes the snap. Goes quarterback run left. J.J. 30, 35, cuts upfield, 40. J.J. first down, knocked out of bounds, right in front of the Michigan bench at the 42-yard line. You called for it, and you got it, John Jansen.
And when you show that threat, now, hey, I'm not saying go away from it, but now all of a sudden, this Washington defense, who had them third and long inside the 5-yard line, all of a sudden, 2 runs by J.J. McCarthy, and you're almost back out to midfield.
Late third quarter, 2:47 to go, clock running. Michigan with a 20-13 lead, and the football on their own 43-yard line after back-to-back J.J. McCarthy runs. He'll take this snap from under center. Donovan Edwards is deep. J.J. takes the snap, toss sweep. Edwards running left, cuts upfield, 45. Puts his head down, gets what he can, out to the 46-yard line. Good run there for Donovan Edwards on first down.
Nice, tough 3-yard run. And again, attacking the edges of this Washington defense.
And it's big, John, because our defense has played most of this half and most of the second quarter, so getting them a break with sustaining these drives are huge for the rest of the game.
Yeah, right now, Washington leads time of possession by about 4 minutes.
Jacob Bandez on the tackle for Washington that last play. Second down, Blake Corum back in the backfield. 4 receivers split wide right. JJ's going to go quick pass to Samaj Morgan, who's drilled immediately and dropped right there. It's Cameron Fabiculanen on the tackle. Samaj caught it, but is dropped immediately for no gain. It'll be third down for Michigan.
But I tell you what, a great job by Samaj holding on to that football. As soon as he caught it and turned around, he was hit, and that ball could have popped out.
Fabiculanen lost his helmet. He'll have to check out of the ballgame. And Michigan's looking at another third down and long. JJ's been very good on third and long all year, but Michigan with just 1 third down conversion in this ballgame, I believe. JJ looks like he wants to change the play. Washington fans making noise. Plenty of time on the play clock. JJ takes the snap. They go wide receiver screen. Far side, Roman Wilson. He's got a blocker. Tries to turn upfield. Gets undercut as he gets to the 50. 1 block away from springing it was Roman Wilson. And Jim Harbaugh probably will have to punt this one as he is about 6 yards shy of the first down. Asa Turner, great job beating the block and making the tackle. Colston Loveland was a man out there.
Yeah, and quite honestly, if Roman, as he's heading to the sideline there, if he just sticks his foot in the ground and comes back, he might be able to get enough to at least make it a 4th and short or pick up the first.
Tommy Doman will punt. Giles Jackson inside the 10. Clean snap. Doman straight up the elevator shaft. Jackson's going to let it bounce inside the 5. It checks up perfectly, and Michigan will down it at the 11-yard line. That ball hit at the 6 or the 5 and came backwards. Got a huge bounce. Good pitching wedge there, 39 yards. And Washington is backed up in the shadows of their own goalposts here with 39 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Now, they didn't get that 93 yards that I was hoping for, but what that drive did was flip the field. They got that ball on the 6-yard line. Now, all of a sudden, because Tommy Doman was able to get up a great punt, you had a couple of runs by J.J. Now, all of a sudden, the tails have turned because you've got now Washington back inside their own red zone.
Here come the Michigan fans making noise. Empty backfield for Michael Penix. Now he shifts Dylan Johnson from a wide receiver spot back into the backfield off his left hip. 1st and 10 Washington from the 11-yard line. Back to pass is Penix. Hesitates, fires far side, overthrows his receiver at the 30-yard line. It was Jalen Polk who was just coming open, and Penix missed it.
Nice job of Rod Moore of pulling off that hit. I know that he wanted to put a hurting on him. He had the opportunity, but as soon as that ball sailed, he could pull off, and he did, or else that could have been one of those unnecessary penalties.
2nd down and 10 for the Huskies. Empty backfield for Michael Penix. McMillan motions from left to right. Penix takes the snap, back to pass. Quickly fires, got his tight end Westover, makes a move at the 15, 20, 24-yard line, and he's dropped right there. Washington first down. Short pass underneath, and then Westover showed a little shake and got away from a Michigan tackler. That's the guy who only played 2 high school football games.
Yeah.
As a basketball player, decided to play football, got hurt. Washington liked him at their camp and offered him a walk-on spot. Now he's a scholarship tight end, maybe their best tight end.
And it looks like Michigan is on skates there.
Washington looks like they're going to let the clock run out here on the third quarter. And we'll move to quarter number 4. 15 minutes to go to a national championship, and Michigan protecting a 7-point lead. But the Huskies, with the football, looking to tie on their own 23. Doug Karsch, John Jansen, Jason Avant down on the field. Michigan leading the Washington Huskies 20-13 as we go to the fourth quarter. Wolverines with a season high on the ground, 273 yards, but 174 of it came in the first quarter, and it's been tough sledding since.
Yeah, Michigan's offense has to find a way to attack the secondary of this Washington defense. Now, you don't want to be taking unnecessary risks, but the safeties, linebackers, corners, they're all charging the line of scrimmage. They're lining up close within 8-9 yards of the line of scrimmage. They're attacking the line of scrimmage at the snap. There is absolutely nothing that this Washington defense is concerned with in regards to Michigan taking a shot downfield.
Meanwhile, the Michigan defense, while getting the job done on the scoreboard, Washington is just dinking and dunking down the field. And if you told me going to the fourth quarter Washington would have 13 points, oh, it's something to be happy about. But it's kind of a frustrating way to play. But if it's working, you stick with it. Jesse Minter is letting them take those short passes underneath. Washington, they love the deep shot and have had very little success today with that. Penix in a shotgun, 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line, fourth quarter, first play. Takes the snap, handoff Dylan Johnson, running left, and he's dragged down as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Falls forward for a gain of 2. Mason Graham, the Michigan tackler.
Great job of taking on the block of Nate Kalepo and making a play at the same time. Extends his hands, shuffles down the line of scrimmage, and is able to make the play basically at the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 7 for the Huskies. Will Nixon in the backfield, off the left hip of Michael Penix. Wolverines with a 4-man front. Penix surveys the Michigan defense. Now Michigan shows blitz, and here they come. Back to pass. Penix quickly gets it out. He's got his receiver. That's McMillan. Dropped immediately. Good open field tackle from Will Johnson. Short gain from McMillan. out to the 29-yard line, and it'll be third down and medium for the Huskies.
That's a huge risk and reward. And the reward was, hey, you got Will Johnson one-on-one the tight end, and you're able to make a play. You also put pressure on your quarterback.
Third down and 5, ball on the 29-yard line. They got to get it across the 34. Big play here for the Michigan defense to get off the field, protecting a 7-point lead, fourth quarter. Penix. Send the man in motion out to the left. Now he's quickly going to throw it to his running back, and he drops it out of the backfield.
Wow.
Will Nixon had some room in front of him. Junior Colson was coming over, and maybe he heard footsteps, but that's going to force a Washington punt.
Footsteps, or he was just looking ahead before he caught the ball. Whatever had happened, that's a big stop for this Michigan defense.
And Michigan will get the football back. Jake Thaw standing on his own 36-yard line to field the punt from Jack McAllister.
Oh, they did put somebody up short.
They got two guys there, yeah. Now they're going to motion Samaj Morgan off the field. Michigan has too many men on the field, and this is going to be a Washington first down unless Samaj got off. Short punt, Thaw lets it go over his head. It bounces inside the 30 and rolls out of bounds at the 18-yard line. And I'm not sure that was too many men. I think Samaj ran off maybe when he didn't need to.
Yeah, there's only 10 guys on the field.
Some confusion there. They sent Samaj and Jake Thaw out to protect against the short punt. 54 yards again. Still a mistake. If Samaj is back there on that one, he ran off the field unnecessarily.
Yeah, I don't know what the communication was there. But obviously as they discuss things on the sidelines, got to figure it out.
Wolverines have the football, 13:28 to go, fourth quarter. They lead it 20-13. This following the punt that was down at the Michigan 16-yard line. The Wolverines will take over. And a miscommunication on special teams there. But nonetheless, Michigan with a 7-point lead, 20-13 with 13:29 to go here in the fourth quarter as we start to enter a portion of the football game in the national championship that can only be defined as terrifying.
Well, it's an opportunity for this offense right now to regain that attack mentality. You're getting the ball at the 16-yard line, and you got 84 yards that you're looking at. And yeah, it could look like a long way to go, but if you just consistently move the ball downfield, every once in a while attacks the middle of the field. JJ use his legs to pick up first downs.
JJ in a shotgun, Blake Corum in the backfield. Puts Colston Loveland in motion from left to right. JJ play action, rolls to the right, looking downfield, fires. He's got Cornelius Johnson, and he dropped it. He was coming open at the 25-yard line, and like he had some open field in front of him as well. So it'll be second down.
Yeah, that's frustrating. When you finally get something that you've wanted and that you've needed, the ball gets put right on his hands, and he drops it.
Yeah, we talked about that first down throw. They did it, that situation. I thought CJ felt the pressure right there of those defenders around him.
Second and 10 for Michigan. Two receivers split to either side. JJ in a shotgun. Claps his hands, takes the snap, handoff, Blake Corum running left. Cuts upfield, gets to the 18-yard line, and is wrangled to the ground as he gets to the 20. Is Blake Corum, 4-yard gain there on second down for the Wolverines senior running back out of Marshall, Virginia. Tuli Nanasanoa on the tackle there for the Huskies.
Yeah, now it's time. Michigan does have some options here. I mean, you're 3rd and 6, not ideal, but it's manageable. I'd really like to see Colston Loveland somewhere right down the middle.
They split him out wide right. JJ in a shotgun. Takes the snap, back to pass. Going to bail out of there to the right, looking downfield. Keeps his head up, gets tripped up, 20, 21-yard line, and that's where he goes down. In the backfield, he got tripped up there trying to outrun the pass rush. And Bowie Tunuufo on the tackle, and Michigan will go 3 and out. Well, it's starting to feel like Michigan is going to have to try and milk this 7-point lead.
Boy, that's a risky business going against this type of offense.
You aren't kidding. I'm sure they don't want to. After the first 3 possessions, Michigan's offense, their only scoring drive is when they took over on the interception deep in Washington territory. Tommy Doman will punt. And back to field it is Giles Jackson. He'll take it at the 34. Makes one man miss and then gets drilled. A pair of Wolverine defenders drop him right there at the 33-yard line. And that's where Washington will take over, trailing 20-13 following the 46-yard punt. 11:52 to go in the ballgame. Houston, Michigan leading Washington 20-13 with 11:52 to go in the ballgame, and Washington will have their second best starting field position of the game at their own 33-yard line. Their best to their own 39. That came late in the first half when they actually converted their only touchdown of the game right before the halftime break. But John, like I said, it's not by design. I'm sure they want to do more offensively, but can the Michigan defense make this 7-point lead stand? They've done an outstanding job. Jesse Minter staying patient, the Michigan defensive coordinator.
Well, and I think that's the key right now. This Michigan defense has been patient all game long. They've taken a couple of chances, and we've seen guys make some good plays on the edge. Will Johnson on that last drive with a nice tackle, but at some point, the offense has to step up and do their part.
Shotgun for Penix. 1st and 10 from his own 33-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, ball on the left hash. Penix takes the snap, back to pass. The lefty looking downfield. He's going to fire crossing route. He's got his man at the 45, and it's knocked away. Good defense. It's Rod Moore, who knocked it away from Jalen Polk.
Nice job of closing speed and then getting the hand in there just at the right time to be able to knock that ball away. That's
I think that's a beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
2nd down and 10 for the Huskies. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Penix back to pass. Here comes a pass rush. He's going to take a deep shot. He's got a man out there. It's Dunze, and he's got it. Inside the 40, he steps out of bounds at the Michigan 35-yard line. Dunze beat. Will Johnson looks like a double move. And what do we got?
They're not moving.
Offense, number 73.
That was Roger Rosengarten, the right tackle, who held Braden McGregor coming off the edge. Oh, what a big call there. Back up Washington 10 yards. McGregor went down awkwardly right at Penix's feet. We'll have to look at a replay.
It looks like maybe, yeah, when I saw it happen, like he was just jerked down to the ground.
Here come the Michigan fans. 11:28 to go in the ballgame. Michigan up 20-13. 2nd and 20 for the Huskies. Penix inside his 20-yard line. 4 wide receivers. Claps his hands, takes the snap, back to pass. Penix over the middle's got his man, and he's met right there at the 25-yard line and dropped by Mikey Sainristil for a short gain. Mikey Sainristil dropped Jalen McMillan, very dangerous receiver. Looked like a middle screen being set up, but Sainristil, a sticky tackler. With a big tackle there, it's going to be 3rd down and 18 for the Huskies.
This Washington offense likes to try and get their linemen either outside on some of those screens or some of those quick passes across the middle, try and get them downfield to block as well, and Mikey just beat the center, Brailsford.
3rd and 18. 2 receivers split to either side. Penix back to pass. Looking downfield, is going to fire underneath. He's got his man at the 30 and dropped immediately by Michael Barrett. Back at the original line of scrimmage is Dylan Johnson, the running back. It'll be 4th down. And Kalen DeBoer not at the point in the ball game where I suspect he will go for it with 10:14 to go.
No, especially with the way his defense is playing. They didn't gain much, obviously 1 yard on that possession, but they're basically going to just trade punts at this point.
And the Wolverines are indeed putting 2 punt returners. One up close is Jake Thaw at the 31, Samaj Morgan deep at the 21. To field this punt from Jack McAllister, who's been hitting short punts that roll all night long. Takes the snap, puts his foot into it, and this one will be deep. Fair catch signaled for by Jake Thaw, and he makes it at the 29-yard line. And that's where Michigan will take over with 9:44 to go in the ball game, leading 20-13 after a 37-yard punt. Everybody breathe. Well, the Wolverines lead it by 7 and get the football back midway through the 4th quarter here, having not done much in the third quarter. Just like a week ago at the Rose Bowl, is a time to put together a very important drive. 9:44 to go in the ballgame. Wolverines come off the sideline, split 4 wide, 2 to either side. Blake Corum in the backfield, facing a 4-man front. JJ in a shotgun, claps his hands, takes the snap. Play action, fires over the middle. Colston Loveland at the 40, the 50. Colston Loveland, 45, 40, down to the 30 and dragged down there. Michigan's big tight end out of Gooding, Idaho, with a huge play, and the Wolverines are knocking on the door. Dominique Hampton with the tackle downfield for the Huskies.
Great job, great catch, nice throw, getting over top of the linebackers. Colston Loveland goes up and gets it. He's so good in the middle of the field.
43 yards, the Wolverines go quickly. Handoff Blake Corum up the middle, inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. A gain of 3 for Blake Corum. And it was Carson Bruner and Mish Powell combining on the tackle for the Huskies.
Wow. I mean, a great job of pass protection. Broke down right at the end. Trente Jones giving up a little bit of pressure on that, but a great pass and an even better catch by Colston. That's what you got to do. And here's the important part now is you don't want to settle for 3, but if you only get 3, it's a 2-possession game.
No negative plays right now.
Yeah.
They're in field goal range. Khalil Mullings in the backfield off the right hip of J.J. McCarthy. Now he shifts from right to left. J.J. takes the snap. Fakes a pitch, now rolls to his right, looking downfield, fires underneath. Roman Wilson, 25 to the sideline, up the sideline, inside the 20, and stepping out of bounds at the Washington 16-yard line. Check that, the 15. First down, Michigan, after the misdirection play, and Roman Wilson underneath. And the Wolverines are knocking on the door with a 7-point lead and 8 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the national championship game.
They put the defensive end in conflict. He was trying to stretch out Roman Wilson, not covering him, but had to come up to get J.J. McCarthy. If he hadn't, J.J.'d pick up the first down.
Shotgun for McCarthy. Everybody bunched to the left. Split wide left, Cornelius Johnson. Handoff up the middle, Blake Corum. Burst of speed inside the 15, down to the 12-yard line, and that's where he is dropped. 7:45 to go in the ballgame. Second down and 7. Ball on the Washington 12.
They just brought Max Bredesen back in the game. Watch for him to be one of those guys that in the backfield is a lead blocker down here in the red zone. It's happened so many different times. But this is where decision-making by J.J. becomes so important.
All 3 tight ends to the right now. All 3 of them shift to the left. Blake Corum off the left hip of J.J. McCarthy in a shotgun. Snap. Blake run him right. Cuts upfield at the 10. Breaks a tackle to the 5. Blake Corum to the goal line. To the end zone. Touchdown, Wolverines. Blake Corum with the touchdown run from 12 yards out, and Michigan extends the lead to 26-13 here midway through the fourth quarter.
Hey, John, that formation has been deadly today. When they've had 4 people strong and running back to the weak side, it's been there the entire game.
Yeah, and they were able to pull Trevor Keegan around. Carson Barnhart got up in the second level.
James Turner on for the extra point. Will Wagner's snap is good. Tommy Doman puts it down. Turner's kick is up, and it is good.
It bangs that one home.
It
went off the left upright. It was a little more exciting than it needed to be.
By rule, it still counts.
Yes, it does. Yeah. It split the uprights, just not down the middle.
The Wolverines, after the bank shot extra point, take a 27-13 lead. Here in Houston in the national championship game with 7:09 to go in the ball game. This is about as explosive an offense as there is in the country. And while Michigan's defense has done the job through 3.5 quarters, Michael Penix down 14 points.
And we've seen 2 game-changing plays not go Washington's way. It was a 4th down call that was incomplete to Rome Odunze in the first half. Just a miss by Michael Penix, and we've also saw one here. It was a big gainer that was complete to Rome, but it was called back because of a holding call. And I say that because this offense for Washington, they can get chunk yardage plays, they can score quickly. I mean, with 7:09 left to go in the fourth quarter here, 2 scores is not unheard of.
Tommy Doman will put his right foot into this one. And deep for the Huskies, and letting it go into the end zone for another touchback is their kick returner, Inge.
Well, and here's where Michigan needs to start adjusting their defensive play, knowing that Washington is going to start taking some shots downfield. They can still dink and dunk down the field. Make sure you still keep everything in front of you. Don't take any risks. No chances.
Make them take their time, right?
Yeah.
Tick-tock. Michigan up 27-13, 7:09 to go. Penix in a shotgun and an empty backfield. Back to pass. Surveys the Michigan defense, fires, got his man Polk on a comeback route at the 30, and the Wolverines swarm him. Keon Sabb, eventually the man, along with Rod Moore and Josh Wallace, to bring him down, a gain of 4 on first down for Polk.
And I'm okay with that. They didn't even try and go deep. That was the deepest route run. What they're going to try and do is pick up the tempo, make sure that they get set, get snaps.
2nd down and 6 for the Huskies. Inside 7 minutes to go. Wolverines up 14. Penix looking at a 5-man front for Michigan. Takes the snap, back to pass. Here comes the Wolverine pass rush. Penix just gets it off. He's got a man wide open. Roma Dunze at the 40. Inside the 40 for Michigan, down to the 30 of the Wolverines. Mikey Sammer still caught up to him. Dunze came wide open. Penix found him. Put the ball on the Michigan 27-yard line with 6:14 to go. Washington not dead yet.
No,
44 yards.
About 4 different shifts, and Michigan just got confused. That was Mikey Sammerstill's man, and just he lost track of where he was.
Washington with just 1 touchdown so far tonight, trailing by 14 from the Michigan 27-yard line. And we get movement up front. And it looks like Washington jumped, and all that's going to do is make the Michigan fans down at this end even louder.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. Touchdown.
In these situations, it's all about the second level of our defense. They have to do 7-on-7 drops and sink underneath some of these deeper passing plays so they can check the ball down. It's all about that second level of the defense.
Back up Washington 5 yards to the 32-yard line. And they're looking at 2nd down and 15. 5:45 to go in the game. Clock running. Penix takes the snap, back to pass. Here comes a pass rush, steps up in the pocket, fires underneath, and overthrows his wide receiver, whether it was Westover over the middle, or maybe he was looking for McMillan down the right sideline. It falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 15 for the Huskies.
Well, Kenneth Grant was applying pressure, and then Derek Moore came around on a loop and was able to put a nice lick on Michael Penix. No, it was actually Kenneth Grant that put a hit on him.
That was a pretty scary throw there. He didn't want that contact.
3 receivers split to the right. Now they motion to Dunze from right to left. Shotgun. Now they motion the running back out of the backfield to the right. That's the short side of the field with the ball in the right hash. Penix claps his hands and back to pass. Looked like movement. Steps up in the pocket. Fires underneath to McMillan, who's got it at the 30, but he goes to a knee right there. I'm surprised it wasn't a flag. Just 2 yards on that crossing route as McMillan was down where he caught it. It's going to be 3rd and long for the Huskies, who are clearly in 4-down territory with 5:20 to go in the ballgame. Clock running, and Michigan up 2 scores. Well,
and Josiah Stewart's making sure the official knows that you were right. I do think that the tackles moved a little bit quickly.
3rd down and 13 for Washington. Penix in a shotgun, 3 receivers in a bunch formation to the right, 1 to the left. Big play here. Penix back to pass. Michigan brings 4. Penix fires down the sideline looking for McMillan, and it's incomplete inside the Michigan 5. Mikey Sammer still in phase there downfield, and it's 4th down for Washington. And with 4:53 to go, Kalen DeBoer has no choice but to go for it. A lot of talk there with Sammerstall, McMillan back to the huddle.
Yeah, they got to make sure they're on the same page. You're going to see a lot of motions again. They're going to try and get Rome singled up. Michigan's not matching up very well right now.
5 wide, empty backfield. 4th down and 13, and we get a whistle, and I think Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter want to take a timeout and talk about this one. You were talking about matchups. There might not have been the matchup that they wanted.
No, they had Rome in the slot, and they didn't want the matchup they've had bad. In fact, they didn't have really anybody on them, so a nice time to take a timeout, reset, make sure you check all the boxes in the huddle, make sure everybody understands. Now, I expect Washington, when they come out, because the play clock's going to reset at 25, you're probably going to see a combination of 4 or even 5 different motions before this ball is snapped, and people moving around trying to confuse this Michigan defense.
Wolverine fans trying to create chaos down there. But this Washington offense, Jason Avant's been pretty loud, hasn't it?
It's been unbelievably loud, especially since Michigan scored the last touchdown. These fans came alive. We needed that score, and now the defense is trying to get off the field.
4th and 13 for the Huskies. They trail by 14 with 4:52 to go in the ballgame. 2 receivers split to either side. Dylan Johnson in the backfield. Penix in a shotgun on his own 35. They got to get it inside the 17. Back to pass is Penix. Pass rush coming. He's under duress. Flag is down. Fires downfield. Incomplete. Incomplete at the 5-yard line. We wait to see what the flag is.
There's 2 flags.
There's one downfield where the ball fell incomplete and one in the backfield.
There's a holding on the Washington offensive line. They didn't catch the guilty party, but then there's going to be pass interference downfield, so they'll replay the down.
Michigan was in the backfield right off the snap of that.
There are fouls by both teams. Holding, offense, number 73. Pass interference, defense, number 2. The foul's offset. 4th down.
That's such a tough play for any defensive back when the ball is extremely short like that. The receiver is taught to go through the cornerback and therefore draw a defensive pass interference call.
Penix was under duress from the moment he caught that snap. And we'll do it again on 4th down and 13 for the Huskies.
He took a big shot right when he threw that ball, too, and got up a little bit slow.
Washington breaks the huddle with 3 receivers split to the right, 1 to the left.
Jesse Minter just called an all-out blitz.
Wolverines have 4 at the line of scrimmage. Penix in a shotgun. Puts Westover in motion towards his own sideline. Wolverines, here comes the pressure. Penix fires over the middle, and it is intercepted. Mikey St. Bristol going the other way. 20, 25, 30. Mikey St. Bristol to the 40, to the 50. Mikey St. Bristol down the field, inside the 20. Cuts back inside at the 10. And he's dragged down at the Washington 6-yard line.
The legend of Mike Sandristil continues to grow.
85 yards on the interception return. And the senior, with his 6th interception of the season, takes it inside the Washington 10-yard line, and Michigan will have it with 4:29 to go, leading this game 27-13.
Seniors in big moments.
Of them have been able to step up throughout the course of the season, but Mikey Sandristil has done it time and time again.
From the 8-yard line, J.J. McCarthy under center, Blake Corum, the lone running back, takes the handoff, hesitates, weaves through traffic inside the 5, towards the goal line. We await the call. They're going to call him down inside the 1-yard line with 4:20 to go and the clock running. Michigan looking for a kill shot. They will take their time. 7-yard gain on 1st down for Blake Corum, and 2nd and goal from inside the 1.
Yeah, you mentioned you got a text where somebody smelled blood in the water, and this is exactly it. This offensive line knows they can put a nail in the coffin right now.
Traditional I formation with Max Bredesen. Check that. Yeah, Max Bredesen, the up man, and Blake Corum deep. JJ under center. Brings a tight end in motion. Handoff Blake Corum up the middle. Touchdown! Wolverines find the left side of the offensive line, and Michigan extends the lead to 33-13 with 3:37 to go in the ball game.
Max Bredesen is a war daddy. He's a guy like Braveheart that goes into the battle and slays everybody. Bredesen is a butt kicker up front, boy.
And that was the tight end in motion was big number 58, Giovanni El Hadi. He was the one that was leading the pack, followed by Max Bredesen. Couldn't be happier for him to get in there and get that opportunity.
James Turner on for the extra point. Snap is good. Tommy Doman puts this one down, and Turner fires it through without even hitting it upright this time. And Michigan's lead is 21 with 3:37 to go.
Oh, boy. What a moment for Mikey Sandristil. What a moment for this team. I mean, the defense has stood up all day long. Can you imagine if I told you with 3.5 minutes to go in the game that Washington would only have 13 points? It would almost be unbelievable.
Funny story today. I was on a phone call with Chris Carter from Ohio State, the legend. And I said, listen, this game can go two ways. I was like, one way that I think is Michigan probably could blow this team out. And he fought back and said, you know what? Washington is the only team that can blow Michigan out. I was like, dude, you're insane. Michigan can control the clock with the run game, and our defense can stop them.
What do you expect from a Buckeye?
Yeah, go figure. A Michigan guy and Ohio State guy didn't get along?
For sure.
They didn't see things the same way. Tommy Doman sends this one deep to Ngata, and he will bring it out from the goal line to the 10, to the 15. Ngata gets to about the 16-yard line, and he is swarmed under by a host of Michigan tacklers, and that's where Washington will take over. Danny Hughes or Micah Pollard, one of the 37s on the tackle, credit them. And that's where Washington will scrimmage down 21 points with 3:31 to go. Wow, how about Mikey Sainristel? We've gotten to know him over the years. Great kid, 85-yard interception return. I'm sure he wanted to get to the house, but I don't think he particularly cares.
No, he doesn't. If there's anybody on this team that doesn't care, it's just the fact that play is helping Michigan beat an opponent.
3:31 to go, Michigan up 21. Penix in a shotgun. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Now he motions one of the receivers from left to right. Back to pass is Michael Penix. Fires over the middle, crossing route. He's got his man underneath. That's Polk, 20. Tries to cut up field at the 22. Junior Colson brings it down, and we got a flag. And we might get a targeting call here, unfortunately.
Well, I hope Will Johnson
don't need that.
Doesn't have to miss the last 3:22 of the game.
That's just a terrible call.
Yeah, they're looking.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 2. The previous play is under further review.
Well, I guess we'll find out if it's a terrible call because this one will be under review. Meanwhile, we're watching the TV replay. Michael Penix is holding his right side.
Well, remember that, I forget which play it was, but he took a shot when he threw the ball, and he got up slow. I think obviously he's not used to getting hit. He's only been sacked 10 times throughout the course of this year. And I'm hoping that they show a replay of the hit.
Well, bring up the speed here on a couple of things. First of all,
after further review, there is no foul for targeting. Number 2 may remain in the game. Second down.
Goes in the books of a gain of 6 for McMillan on the crossing route. As I was saying, Michigan's 304 yards rushing. That is a new college football playoff championship game record. And Corum and Edwards are the first teammates with 100-plus rushing yards in a college football title game here in its 10th year. Second down and 4 from the 24-yard line for the Huskies. Clock running, 3:12 to go. Michigan up by 3 touchdowns. Penix in a shotgun. Claps his hands, takes the snap, back to pass. Looking downfield and gets it away. It's tipped in the air and falls incomplete.
Tips and overthrows, you got to get those.
Yep. Makari Page was the man eyeing that one. He'll check out of the ball game, and Keon Sabb will come back in.
Well, right now, this Michigan front 4 is pinning their ears back. Just saw a spin by Mason Graham. I mean, this offensive line, it's a good offensive line, don't get me wrong, but Michigan's defensive front, especially the 2 sophomores that have to be back next year, have absolutely owned this Washington front.
2:58 to go in the ball game. 34-13, Michigan on top, 3rd and 3. Penix back to pass. Fires over the middle. He's got his man, and it's dropping short of the first down as Will Nixon, the running back. He gets marked a yard short of the first down on a crossing route. It's going to be 4th down for the Huskies. And this is their last final gasp. With the clock running and 2:37 to go, 4th down and 1. from their own 26-yard line. Penix in a shotgun, bunch formation to the left. Takes the snap, hands it off, up the middle, first down for Nixon, puts his head down and drives across the 30 out to the 32-yard line. Washington will move the chains with 2:15 to go and the clock running. Junior Colson credited with the tackle there. From the 31, Penix back to pass. Fires over the middle, and he's got his man, and it's immediately dislodged. As arriving at the same time of the ball was Keon Sabb.
Oh, that was a very big play. Obviously, Michigan was not able to get the substitutions that they wanted, trying to get guys off, get back on. They weren't ready for the snap of the ball. And Washington didn't have to let them because they didn't sub anybody. Josh
Cuevas couldn't hang on to that one for the Huskies. Second down and 10 for Washington. 2:04 to go. Three receivers to the right, one to the left. Shotgun for Penix. Claps his hands, takes the snap, back to pass. Looking downfield, here comes the rush, fires underneath, and it is almost intercepted. Junior Colson went high to try and get it, and then it bounced in front of Will Johnson. Incomplete. 3rd and 10 for Washington with 1:59 to go.
I wonder at what point Kalen DeBoer is going to protect his quarterback, because he's now taken some unnecessary shots. You're down 3 touchdowns. I know that you never want to wave the white flag, but boy, his quarterback is taking a beating.
3rd down and 10 for the Huskies. Penix in a shotgun. Two receivers left, two to the right. Back to pass. Wolverines bring a blitz. Penix lets it go as he hits it. He just throws it away into the Washington bench. Michael Barrett with the man who delivered the hit. Penix very slow getting up. Incomplete.
They brought Will Johnson and Michael Barrett. Running back picked up Mike Barrett, and Will Johnson was the one that put the hit on Michael Penix. And, I mean, Michael Penix right now is just simply trying to throw the ball, get rid of it to protect himself.
4th down and 10. Washington's last gasp effort from the 31-yard line. Two receivers split to either side. Now they motion a man from right to left. Penix in a shotgun. Here we go, and we get a whistle and a timeout, and it's Jim Harbaugh who wants to talk it over before this critical 4th and 10. Although the Wolverines, even if they give up the first down, the score and the clock heavily in their favor.
They're second and a half, 30-second timeout.
2 turnovers for Washington here in the second half. An interception by Will Johnson, an interception by Mikey Samristel. And that has really set up Michigan's offense. Twice with short fields that led directly to 10 points. And then Michigan's offense came up with a massive fourth-quarter drive for the second consecutive week in one of these college football playoff games to take a 7-point lead to 14 points.
This has been a team obviously led by the defense. The offense has always been able to do enough throughout the course of 4 quarters to score enough to win games, but the defense has been remarkable all season long. We saw it with what they did last week against Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Now, in the national championship game here in Houston, they have stood tall.
Washington's last chance. Bunch formation to the right, one receiver split to the left. Penix in a shotgun on 4th and 10 from his own 31. Takes the snap, back to pass. Wolverines bring a blitz, fires, and it is incomplete. Incomplete. And the Michigan defense calls game.
What a moment for all of these players, the coaches, the fans that have traveled to Houston en masse to take over the city of Houston. All weekend long, we've been talking about the great representation the Michigan fans have had to come down here to support their team, whether it was out in California for the Rose Bowl, here in Texas for the national championship game. It's been an unbelievable run for this team. And J.J. McCarthy, as a starting quarterback, will now go 27-1, put 2 Big Ten championships under his hat, as well as a national title.
Hand off to Blake Corum, running right into the scrum and just across the line of scrimmage down to the 30-yard line, and that's where he is stopped. Clock running, 1:38 to go. Washington with all 3 timeouts, and it doesn't look like Kalen DeBoer is going to prolong this any longer than he needs to. Michigan fans on their feet, making all kinds of noise here in Houston. Wolverines 2 snaps away from a national championship. And John, you call this the best formation in football. And Michigan, it looks like, will assume the victory formation. J.J. McCarthy under center. Will take the snap and take the knee with 1:02 to go.
And Jim Harbaugh will again be in the happiest place on earth. And that's a winning locker room, a winning sideline. And they will complete the first 15-0 regular season for a Michigan football team.
Jim Harbaugh just avoided the Gatorade dump on the Michigan sideline. Looked like Michael Barrett got the worst of it as JJ takes the snap, flips the ball to Roman Wilson after he takes the knee, and Michigan, the Wolverines, have won a national championship. Wolverine players, Wolverine alums, Michigan fans everywhere, Jim Harbaugh and your staff, your team is the #1 team in America as the clock ticks down and Michigan completes a 15-0 national championship season here in Houston. Bet.
And they're going to get a chance to hear the same words that we heard back in '97. Team 144, you have just won a national championship.
Let's go down to Jason Avant on the field.
I am down on the sideline on the field with Chris Jenkins. How does it feel to be the best team in the country?
It feels amazing, man. All the hard work we done put in, and we said we were going to do it, but all that hard work we put in, from winter training cycle to now, man, it's unbelievable feeling, man, that the work paid off. And I'm just so proud of this team and my brothers. I'm so proud to be a part of this team, man. I've never been a part of a team like this, so this is amazing to me, man.
One last question. Everyone doubted you guys. Scandals. This Washington team, the best offense in the country, to have a defense come out and to hold this team down like this and win a national championship on defense. What does that say about this defense?
I've been saying, man, it starts with Coach Minter, Coach Herb, all the coaches. We've been practicing the pillars after we saw the TCU game last year. And that's the foundation we built. And from that foundation, we continue to push ourselves. That's what brought us here. And we bought in, we took that shit seriously. And now we here, man. It's amazing.
Go and celebrate with your teammates.
Jason, don't go anywhere. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Wolverines that you can talk to down below as Michigan is celebrating its first national championship since the 1997 team, led by Lloyd Carr, and my broadcast partner John Jansen, ran the table, beat Washington State in the Rose Bowl to secure a national title. Coach Carr is here tonight, watching this one as the confetti rains down on the Wolverines at the center of the field. A bunch of Michigan players ran to the locker room, and I'm thinking they went to get their cell phones so they can record the moment as the Wolverines are gathering at the middle of the field, and they're setting up the stage for the trophy presentation as the Michigan Wolverines have completed a perfect season, 15-0, beating Alabama in the Rose Bowl last week and following it up with a dominant 34-13 win here in Houston to win the national championship. What a sight from here above NRG Stadium. The Michigan fans are going nowhere. And the Husky fans are filing out as we have a post-game ceremony to come to celebrate this team. And our Wolverines laying on the field down below. We'll catch up with Jim Harbaugh as John Jansen's making his way down to the field. We'll send Jason into the Michigan locker room to celebrate this national championship as Michigan has won a national title here in Houston.
For the first time since 1997, Michigan football is the national champion. And for the first time ever, Michigan football is the 15-0 national champion. Wolverines take down the second-ranked, formerly unbeaten Washington Huskies 34-13 here today in Houston. We've got a ton to do for you here on this SeatGeek postgame show. Reaction from the field, analysis from our crew, all the highlights, and all the emotion of Michigan's national championship conclusion. They are preparing the post-game trophy celebration, which we will bring to you live. But first, we talk with the man who called it, Doug Karsh. Doug, you grew up a fan of this program. Now you are here calling these games. What does this mean to you?
Well, it means so much to not just me and John Jansen and Jack Miller and Jason Avant and everybody in our crew, including yourself, who we have adopted and love very much. But I think of Jim Brandstatter and Dan Deerdorf. I'm guessing right now those guys are weeping. I think of Frank Beckman, who helped adopt me years ago as a member of the crew, and the years I did sidelines. And I think of all the former players that came close, that are feeling a great sense of pride. You know, Jim Harbaugh said something about this team. There's not a lot of me guys, and he credited the parents. I think of the parents of the kids that stuck with this program. And you think about Trevor Keegan coming back, and Blake Corum coming back, and Mikey Sainristil coming back, and some of the important plays they made tonight. They came back for this moment right here. And what can you say? When you set a goal, you make it clear what your goal is, and you accomplish that goal, and it comes on the backbone of hard work. And congratulations to this Michigan team.
Of course, every team dreams of getting to this point and winning. There are those programs that set it as a realistic goal, and there are a handful plus every year that expect it. Michigan expected it. They called their shot, as Jim Harbaugh said in your pregame conversation with him. And when you put that on yourself, when you dedicate an entire year, a year where, hey, we all know that college football is different these days now. There is NIL. There are opportunities to profit off of this. But this group bought in to what this program means, what this opportunity means, and they held off in a lot of cases. I mean, Michigan had some guys who would have been probably prepping for the NFL playoffs this week, and yet here they are with a maize and blue confetti shower in Houston, Texas.
And, J.J. McCarthy sent out that tweet when he was still in high school after the loss to Wisconsin during the COVID season, and just asked Michigan fans to take some deep breaths and relax. There was panic. Everybody hated it in that time, how that team was struggling, and asked the fans to support. He said, what the kids need now more than anything is your support. And 3 years later, J.J. McCarthy is wearing the crown as the quarterback of a national championship football team. And what can you say about this kid? 27-1 as a starter. He has been near flawless, and not always the greatest game statistically, but how huge when Michigan's offense was spinning its wheels was his scramble up the middle, followed by a 12-yard run to get the Michigan offense going. And then they slammed the door at the end of this game with some spectacular plays, both offensively and defensively. The Mikey Sainristil 85-yard interception return, which really started to slam the door on the Huskies, is a play that will live in Michigan history.
Yeah, it was McCarthy's season-high tying a long run of 22 yards, and part of that tweet from November 15th, 2020, quote, I want all Michigan fans to do this, take 3 deep breaths, and have faith that every single coach, player, employee in that building is doing everything they possibly can to be great. Later, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Take 3 deep breaths, and now 3 Big Ten titles, 3 trips to the college football playoff, and the third time was finally the charm in terms of winning a national championship. But what more can you say, Doug, about this defensive effort? This team played its best defensive game of the season, and that is quite high praise for a defense that was, let's face it, they were the nation's best this season.
Well, Michigan won the yardage battle, 443 to 301. Held Washington to 46 yards rushing and 255 yards passing. And if we said before the game that Washington was only going to score 13 points, you would say that is going to be a Michigan victory. I picked this one 24 to 17 Michigan because I really thought the Michigan defense was not only going to do the job, I thought the Michigan offense would be able to grind the clock a little bit, limit the possessions for the Huskies. And I'm not really sure that they did that, but it doesn't really matter because they got the job done, and you know, nobody really cares who gets the credit. They are just in every way a team. This group is in every way a team, and what a great job by Jim Harbaugh, obviously holding them together, saying to me at one point during the season, I want to take all the heat, so none of it goes on my coaches and my kids. Then you've got the players who just kept talking about one-track mind. Maybe it's easier when you're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old to not pay attention to what people are saying about you because you're worried where the party's at Saturday night after the game. But they had that one-track mind, and now they're on top of the college football world. So what can you say about this group of Wolverines? The leadership, the seniors, the juniors that weren't captains, kids like J.J. McCarthy and Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards, when asked time and time again about his rough season, his quote, I ain't tripping. Okay. And what did he do? He went for over 100 yards and 2 long touchdown runs tonight. The first 2 times he touched the football.
And so similar to those 2 touchdown runs in Columbus last season where he went back-to-back. Pretty darn remarkable. When you mentioned Jim Harbaugh, in terms of his desire to have all of the heat coming to him, and when he was asked this week about what a national championship would mean to him, he kept saying it's not about what it means to him. It's about what it would mean to these players, to the parents, to the siblings, to the family members, to the friends of the players, to say, yes, my son, my brother is a national champion. I mean, that's pretty darn well done.
I got 2 kids at the University of Michigan, and I am fired up for them who made the trip down here, and certainly they have a lot to celebrate tonight and beyond.
Well, let's go down to the podium. ESPN's Reese Davis has the trophy presentation.
Congratulate not only the victors valiant, but also congratulate Washington on a wonderful season, hard-fought game, one befitting of a title match that we had tonight. Before we present this trophy, which has been the ultimate goal, we want to talk to the players of the game first. The offensive player of the game tonight from Michigan is Blake Corum. Blake, you guys were able to set the tone early. You ran for more yards in the first half than Washington had given up in a game all season. How do you think that set the tone for the rest of the night?
We knew we needed to set it early. The offensive line, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to the tight ends and receivers. Y'all really killed it today. Michigan, we did this for you.
You were coming back off an injury, didn't get a chance to do the things you wanted to do a year ago, and you guys had a singular focus all year. Now that this moment's been realized, how does it compare to what you imagined it would be?
This is everything I imagined. When we said to come back, it was a lot of us. We said we had unfinished business. So I'll leave y'all with this. Business is finished.
The business was indeed finished. Over 100 yards tonight, found his way to the end zone repeatedly as he has throughout his career. The defensive player of the game tonight really turned things around early in the second half. The great defensive back, Will Johnson, both wearing number 2, by the way. Number 2 is a good night for teams that are going to be number 1. Will, tell me about the play. Washington gained a little momentum late in the first half, but you came out and made a play along the sideline with just a spectacular interception.
Man, that's all credit to Coach Minner. D-line up front, they made that play for me, and I just capitalized on it.
You guys seem to have this prolific passing attack, and particularly Michael Penix, who's a great quarterback, but you had him off rhythm and uncomfortable all night. How did you go about doing that?
First of all, I just want to give credit to those guys. Those coaches over there, they did a great job all season in this game too. But like I said, preparation, Coach Minner, Coach Herb, Coach Harbaugh, they had us in the right position this game.
Why has this team been able and been so good at avoiding distractions?
Just faith in God. We just thank God for where we are. He had our back all year. We had faith in him all year through all the ups and downs, and that's what got us here today.
Will, congratulations. Will Johnson, a defensive player of the game. And now let's talk, if I can find him, the head coach of the Wolverines, Jim Harbaugh. Hey, Jim, congratulations.
Thank you.
I heard you tell Holly Rowe that each one of these pieces of confetti had a story. What story are these confetti pieces telling right now?
It was a journey, a spiritual journey. Just took counsel from God, the Holy Spirit, this team, everybody, unanimous support for each other. I ain't got a question, but my dad does.
Jack Harbaugh, what's your question?
I have a question. A question, if I might. Who has it us? No!
What does this mean, Jim, to be able to share this? Those look good on you, pal. Those look good on you.
Will Johnson, too. Will Johnson, too.
What does it mean to be able to share this with your dad, your brother John here, and to reach this pinnacle for university in a place you love?
Yeah, I just want to say to my two great loves, my family at work, this team, and my family at home, I love you. I love you. Congratulations.
Jim, when you think about what your mission was when you came back to Michigan, a Michigan man, which you says means so much to you, what does this mean for Michigan football big picture in the modern era, the first undisputed championship?
15-0. This is a spectacular team, and I would just say there are over 100 Michigan men that are on this team in uniform tonight. And what they've done for the last 372 days is amazing. They're champions, simply known as national champions. Pull it down! Pull it down! We did that! We did that!
Did it indeed, and to the victor, the spoils, Bill Hancock. Present, Jim, you might want to stick around for this part. Bill Hancock, the executive director of the college football playoff, to present the national championship trophy to Michigan.
Thank you, Reese. Tonight, with this awesome crowd in this wonderful building, is a fitting conclusion to the 10th college football playoff. And I'm here tonight on behalf of the conferences and schools that administer the playoff to present the national championship trophy to Coach Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines.
There it is.
Jim Harbaugh hoisting that college football playoff national championship trophy in the air as more confetti spills onto the field here at NRG Stadium. You heard that quote from Jim Harbaugh. Each one of these pieces of confetti has a story, and that confetti machine could keep going all night, and that would probably still indeed be the case as Michigan wins the national championship 34-13 over the Washington Huskies. I mean, Doug Karsh, Jack Harbaugh just unfortunately cut out a little bit there, and that was not on our expert engineer Tony Butler. That was the ESPN microphone. I think Jack might have shorted that thing out.
Yeah, well, look, this is his saying. It's apparently something that was said in the Harbaugh car when they were going on vacation, when the Harbaugh boys were young. It was kind of a family saying, and it's been adopted by the Michigan family, the who's got it better than us mantra. And this is the time where the answer clearly is nobody. And I want to just take a time to shout out Zach Zinter, one of the all-time greats at Michigan, who was lost in the Ohio State game, but he's down there holding the trophy up right now. And what a great kid, and stuck with this team, been walking around as he's off crutches now. And Rashawn Benny, who was the honorary captain, was lost in the Rose Bowl. Promising young player. And any of the Wolverines that were hurt and couldn't go tonight. But they overcame that. The offensive line got the job done in this game with over 300 yards rushing, a championship game record. And I credit Jack Miller calling it out at the pep rally yesterday, part of our pregame, halftime, and post, saying he expected big things in this one from Donovan Edwards. And Jack, you nailed it, buddy, with 2 touchdown runs. And you compared it to the 2 Ohio State runs, you're right on. You are right on.
And Will Johnson, defensive player of the game. To me, I think the biggest play in this game was that interception, not just in terms of context, but also in difficulty, because, boy, that was an uneasy 22-minute halftime for all of us in the booth, all the folks listening, Michigan Nation all throughout following this game. And for Will Johnson to do that, I know it only resulted in a field goal. You were trying to help John Jansen bounce back a little bit. He was frustrated it wasn't a touchdown.
Sure.
But if I'd have told you Michigan was going to outscore Washington in the first handful of minutes of the third quarter, 3-0, you'd wonder, well, how the heck did that happen? Washington's getting the football.
Yeah, so disappointment in the touchdown, but the bright side being the points.
Oh, the bright
and making
side.
it a 2-score game. Making it a 2-score game in that moment. Look, Washington had the football a couple times in the second half of this game with a chance to tie the football game, and Michigan's defense stepped up time and time again. I really don't think the final score reflects how close this football game was. Michigan really with a couple of roundhouse punches late, whether it be offensively or defensively, but they got the job done in this 34-13 win in the national championship game. And, you know, you think of the things that happened throughout this season. I find out every week, James McCarthy, I didn't get a chance to tell this on the air. James McCarthy, JJ's dad, keeps me up to speed. JJ takes his NIL money and he donates it to local children's hospitals in the towns that they play in. And he did it again here for Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. And it's just a unbelievably unselfish and gracious gesture by JJ McCarthy, who's led his Michigan football team, Brian Bush, to a 15-0 record and a national championship.
So much more to do on the SeatGeek postgame show. I'm pretty sure Jim Harbaugh is inviting basically anyone around the podium that he knows up to that stage. We'll catch up with him hopefully in a little bit. More from Jack Miller, John Jansen, Jason Avant. Michigan wins the national championship 34-13 over Washington. This is Michigan football from Learfield. So the Wolverines get the job done. They win it by 21. Defense outstanding. It's interesting because, boy, it felt uneasy at times in the second and third quarter, yet you look down to Michigan racks up 443 yards of total offense. And remember that last touchdown drive, they had a goal to go because of the Mikey Sainristil long return inside the 10-yard line. But I'll tell you, maybe it's the curse of the Joe Moore Award, because for the third consecutive year, a team that won that award got outplayed by the opposition's offensive line. Wolverines on that offensive front, outstanding without the first-team All-American and Zach Zinner again.
Well, let me tell you something. The Michigan defense, and you talked about it, Jesse Minter and his staff, Steve Klinkscale in the secondary, and Rick Minter, Jesse's dad, who took over linebacker duties, Mike Elston up front, who said that he's got so much talent, they come at you at waves. He spent 12 years at Notre Dame, his second year at Michigan. The former Wolverine, number 5, said that this is part of the best defense he's ever coached. It's definitely the best defense he's ever coached. And what do? They shut down Michael Penix. They held him to 3 points in the second half. The Michigan defense, time and time again, came up with big stops, and they stayed patient throughout, right? They stayed very patient throughout in letting Michael Penix complete passes underneath, and then just bided their time until they could make a big negative play and put Washington behind the sticks, and it worked. It worked to perfection. And there were times where it felt a little bit frustrating, but you have to stay patient if that's the style of defense you're going to play, and that's what Michigan did, and they executed. The secondary was outstanding. Keon Sabb, after an early broken tackle, played very well the remainder of the way. You've got Mikey Sainristil with the play, Will Johnson with an interception, Rod Moore with a bunch of big plays in the secondary. The list goes on. And the guys up front, it's hard to rush the passer when they snap and throw right away, but that was Michigan's game plan. Give up the short stuff. Nobody took more deep shots this season, and nobody had more success with deep shots than Michael Penix and the Washington offense. And while they got a couple over the top, nothing to the house. And holding them to one touchdown they scored is absolutely remarkable.
Boy, what a moment. And we are moments away from hearing from head coach Jim Harbaugh. I mean, the scene is just remarkable. The Wolverines have basically been shuttling players on and off that stage set up between the 5 and the 10-yard line on the Washington end zone side of the field. Hugs, high fives, I'm sure plenty of tears down on that field after the Wolverines get the victory here today, 34-13 over the Washington Huskies, as Michigan celebrates a national championship. It looks like Jim Harbaugh is approaching John Jansen. He has been, again, ushering so many folks up toward the stage around him as the Wolverines celebrate here in Houston. We are getting ready for John Jansen. Here he is with Coach Harbaugh.
Hey, the UMCU postgame coaches interview is brought to you by the University of Michigan Credit Union. Coach, how does it feel to be called a national champion?
Feels great. Feels very glorious. And just so happy for our players, our coaches. Sherrone Moore, Jesse Minter. I mean, what a game. Our players, I mean, for their legacy, I mean, this is so tremendous. I mean, families to be known as simply champions.
All right, how about the 2 interceptions? You had, obviously, Will Johnson coming out of halftime and Mikey Samerson with the big return. What did it mean, and the impact of both of those and the timing?
Yeah, it's just these guys. I mean, you know there's just nothing they can't overcome inside of a stadium. And coming out of halftime, I said, we got to get that momentum back. We got to get it back as fast as we can. And first play of the second half, Will Johnson comes up with that interception. Yeah, that 4th and 13, that was the play of the game. Mike Sanders still comes up with the interception, return. Just so much tremendous play. Mason Graham had a great game. Penix is an elite quarterback. Mark D. Line, our front seven, really made it tough for him. He made great plays. His receivers made great plays. Jesse called a great game. But, all credit to the players and coaches. They did a fabulous job.
How about at the beginning of the game, Donovan Edwards with 2 huge touchdown runs?
He's back. He's a big play guy. He breaks off big runs, and that was my thought, too. I mean, he's back.
How about Corum?
Blake Corum, I mean, he had the run for the history books last week, put a couple more up tonight. One of the goats of Michigan football, one of them, It's just so beautiful. It's beautiful. It's glorious.
Coach, enjoy the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm going to throw this one back up top to Brian, and let's keep this party rolling.
Let's, John. Great stuff with Jim Harbaugh. Doug, a couple more questions before I let you get down there and celebrate a little bit. I'm going to ask you to do what J.J. McCarthy asked Michigan fans to do back in November 2020. Take 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
All right? I'm going to give you a chance to compose yourself. Blake Corum.
Oh.
I know how much he means to you.
Yep.
You've told the story several times, and here he is. It was interesting talking to Sherrone Moore this week, and he discussed that touchdown run in overtime against Alabama and how he, for one of the first times in his career, really showed emotion and that cockiness that he doesn't show ever, but he has the ability and the personality on and off the field where he could do it all the time and people would understand. But he doesn't show it much. He is as humble as they come. And I think he was one of the guys who really led the charge, not just the whole program, but of the guys who came back, right? He had the injury. We all know what he went through in that less than a year, 9 months to get back to this point. Such a special young man, and you heard it from Jim Harbaugh, one of the GOATs for Michigan football.
Well, yeah. I mean, I lost my sister to cancer, and Blake sent her some messages and asked me how she was doing. Told me he was praying for her in chapel, unprompted, and I just can't say enough about what he meant, giving her some moments in her fight. And so I've always been a huge fan, and it wasn't just him. Cade McNamara did it as well back then, and Blake Corum. We know how generous he is with his NIL earnings to every year give away hundreds of turkeys to needy families. Always deflecting attention, and you mentioned it. You think about him laying on the field, that Illinois game, losing a fumble late in the first half, and you're just so concerned about such a critical player and a quality young man, and you think about where he was at that time, some 14 months ago, And to have what happened after that, him making the decision to not go to the league and come back, they all said it. Guys said it in the locker room. We didn't talk about it much on the air, to be honest with you. They kept mentioning January 8th. They weren't talking about getting past Ohio State or winning the Big Ten championship. They knew that was part of the climb to the top. But I heard them mention January 8th on a number of occasions, which, of course, is today's date, and they have their eyes on this prize specifically. And tonight, as Blake put it, the business is finished.
Well, let's preview the upcoming schedule brought to you by Meyer. Parade, maybe? I hear there's some snow coming back home this weekend, which would be fitting because, we talk about starting points for all of this. And one of the starting points was the Maze-Out game, September 11th, 2021 against Washington. Yep. And Washington that year finished 4-8. It's a remarkable renaissance for that program that got them here to the number 2 spot in the country, and certainly a worthy opponent for this stage, this moment, this opportunity. Another one of those moments that you mark on the timeline was that snowy Saturday in Ann Arbor, the game in 2021. So maybe it would be fitting to have a parade with a bunch of snow coming down.
I got no problem with it. I grew up in Ann Arbor. I'm used to it. I love the wintertime. I love the snow. And so bring it on. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. With a parade through the streets of Ann Arbor. I was there the last time. And when John Jansen and the boys were up on the stage at Chrysler, and I don't think anybody would have any problem. There's rumors of when it might be this weekend, maybe Saturday. So keep your ear to the ground. Because this is something that you have to celebrate. It's a national championship, people, and 15-0, a team that had a flawless record coming in to this game, and they were able to put the first loss on Washington's record. And Michigan is a national champion.